Hey guys, what's going on? I'm gonna be here for 3 hours today, and we're just gonna do deals. Where am I going? I was just closing the door. Just closing the door. We got a lot of fun things to do today. A lot of sellers to call. Not everyone. I am live. I'm gonna be sharing my screen. Okay, welcome. If you guys have any questions about flipping or rental properties or creative finance or wholesaling or really anything real estate related, now is the time. Drop that in the chat and we'll go ahead and get it done. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let my hard money lender know that his application is done. And yeah, we're off to the races. Interviewing for New Western, and I wanted to know if you've ever worked with him. New Western is kind of a large wholesale and wholesale company. I have worked with them, but because of their franchising nature, their branches can often be quite disorganized. How do you make the Doug? Oh, I guess it just spelled a little bit wrong. How do I make the dough? Well, I just gave an excellent analogy on my Instagram, and I'll give you that analogy here because I think it's pretty helpful to understand this. So, imagine, and this is the exact video I just posted on Instagram. This is exactly what I just posted. Imagine you overhear mom and dad wanting to buy a property, right? Mom and dad really, really want to buy a property, and you overhear them having a conversation about it. And they want to buy the house in San Antonio, Texas. So you go into San Antonio, Texas, and you look on Zillow and you see that there are 400 houses for sale at $400,000. And that's the price they'd like to pay, 400K. So you pick up the phone and you call 50 of those people, and all you say on the call is, "Hey, we're ready to go at 350,000, not 400, 350,000." Then you let your parents know the next morning that you have a house where they're willing to sell for 350 instead of 400. And they say, "Sweetie, that is amazing news. What is the address?" And you say, "I'd love to tell you, but I'm looking for a $5,000 finder's fee." Would it make sense for your parents to give you that sort of finder's fee? Well, of course, you just saved them 45K. And that's what I do. But instead of doing it to mom and dad, because that's not very nice, is it? I do it to real estate investors. I find real estate investors on Facebook, on Instagram, on Google, anywhere. And I ask them what they're looking for. I make a note of what they're looking for, and I go find it. And I have been collecting them for about 4 to 5 years, about 5 years now. And I have thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of these people who just want to buy property. And they don't want to buy to live in the property. They want to buy to invest. Some of them might even buy 10 per month, which is insane. And I find them the houses that they're looking for on Zillow at a bit of a discount, and they give me a finder's fee. And all that means is having a buyer and finding a seller on Zillow and figuring out what they're looking for. So each buyer has a set of criteria. We know that as their buy box, and we just go ahead and find it for them. That's it. That's it. It's pretty simple. They pay you. Yeah. Do you understand the parent analogy? The analogy of mom and dad looking for a house. You go ahead and find that house for them on Zillow. You get it at a discount by calling and calling and calling. And then when it comes time for them to figure out where the house is, you're like, "I'm looking for 5K." And then you let them know. Um, I have a paid off rental and would like to purchase another one. Would you use the equity? Would you use the equity in the paid off rental to purchase the next one? Or is there a better way to do it without pulling off the equity? What a great position to be in. You're in such a good position, and I would absolutely use the equity to purchase another rental property. The goal is to not entirely deplete the cash flow that you see. So let's say your paid off rental property is $150,000, and let's say that property makes $2,000 per month. If you were to leverage the full $150,000, the good news is it still wouldn't cost $2,000 per month. However, if you have a 400 or 500K rental property, it still may rent out for $3,500, maybe even $2,500. And if you leverage just half of that, you're pretty close to what the house can rent out for. So you want to be careful. You want to still maintain the cash flow in your rental property while pulling out enough money for the down payment for your next rental property. So I would suggest a cheap market like Detroit, Michigan, St. Louis, Missouri, Cleveland, Ohio, because the cash flow is going to be much higher there, and your goal is likely probably not working and replacing your money with passive income. And I would recommend probably pulling about 20% out of your current rental property and using that as a down payment, not cash, to purchase another one using what's called a DSCR loan. DSCR loan. And you can find a DSCR lender on Kiavi, KIAVI.com. But this is a very good position to be in. Your position is coveted, and I think that's exactly where you should be, man. I think that's great. So let's jump into it. How would I start off, and how would I start off, and do I save before starting? This is a great question. No, we're not going to need to save any money to find people a house to purchase. As far as starting off, this is a pretty broad question, but in essence, you're just going to find a buyer. You're going to ask them what they're looking for, and then you're going to find that criteria on Zillow, and that's it. So I would say start off by finding your buyer. That person can be found on Facebook or in Hold My Hand Wholesale. We've got 7,000 members. Lots of people will post their buy box each day, and then you can just go find it for them, and that's it. Need help finding a buyer? Well, I am going to pivot to answering some questions within Hold My Hand Wholesale because that is who this live stream is for. I have a couple people who wanted me to call their realtors and see if I can close their deals for them. So I'm going to try to do that now. I have a couple individuals here. We're looking at one. Her username is Cheeks. Cheeks. Well, she doesn't look like she's here. I can't exactly see her right now. And then do we have another person that we're supposed to bring up? I think Mr. Patrick. Is there a Patrick here at Patrick? Yes, looks like there is a Patrick here. Hello, Patrick. And then I think we have a couple other people to bring up. So I'm supposed to bring up the Wholesaler 67. The Wholesaler 67 at the Wholesaler 67. And is bro here? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So let's go ahead and answer these questions first and foremost. And then we've got Garen on stage with a very exciting story for us today. Patrick, how are you doing today? What's going on, man?
The guy yesterday, he is willing to take, I think he said 10K minimum. The other guy, he took the property off, and I think he said he's going to do minor repairs so it comes in better, but that doesn't change the number of what we can get it for.
Cool. Okay.
But I just dropped a very interesting seller finance in your inbox.
Okay. So for those who are listening and for those who are new, what is he talking about? Seller financing. Well, you know how we just talked about finding mom and dad a house at a bit of a discount. Oftentimes, the discount is not in the purchase price, but rather the loan terms. You know what I mean by loan terms? You see, lenders, generally speaking, for an investment property at this time would like 20% of the purchase price as a down payment and 7% as an interest rate. Now, if you were to get a seller to agree to better terms than you can obtain with a bank, you might be good for a finder's fee. You might be getting a finder's fee for that. So that's not every single property, but a lot of properties, if they're in a major US city and you were to get that house for 10% down instead of 20% down, simply because the seller couldn't sell the property or didn't have any equity in the property, that's a finder's fee right there. So there's multiple ways that we can generate finder's fees. It's all about providing value to the buyer. Now, I see a lot of properties in my DMs from Patrick here. Patrick, would you tell me which property you'd like me to look at?
It's the last two. It's two properties. She wants to package them together.
Are we looking at 5th Street and Ouray Ave?
Yes. Yep.
Where?
And I dropped her number.
Where?
She just wanted some security on the turn. Oh, that's in Colorado Junction.
Colorado Junction. Okay, is that kind of near Denver? I'm not super familiar with Colorado.
So, Rich, I believe so.
Okay.
Biggest thing is the due on sale clause. I told her we have a way of putting it in so it doesn't. She's not affected, and you have a way of having super protective terms.
Okay, so
she's willing to listen.
So I'm gonna look up the first address. Can I
Okay.
share my screen on this for an example for our viewers?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Looks like my camera just froze, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. It's just gonna take me a second to fix that. Don't leave. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna be really quick. Okay, guys. I'm just gonna fix my camera. That should be fixed here momentarily. I'm playing with some new angles today, so you may be looking at some slightly different angles than you're used to. I thought that this was an entertaining angle. I thought this was a good angle to do. So let's check out Patrick's deal here. The first address. And did you say yes to sharing my screen on this?
Yes, Rich.
Okay, great. So we're looking at 210 Northwest 5th Street. I'm not familiar with this address. I've never looked at it before, and it's my job to figure out the right solution for the seller and the right solution for the buyer. So 210 Northwest 5th Street, and this is in...
I know she owes $263 on one and then $635 on another.
Okay, I'm trying to find the... Is this in Cedar Ridge, Colorado?
Yep, yes.
Okay. Let's just make sure that this isn't a location that people would want to buy in, because the location and population are very important things when it comes to real estate investing. So this house looks like it is about maybe 3 hours from Denver, 2 hours from Aspen, and kind of near a slightly larger location called Orchard City. I'm not familiar with this location, but I'm gonna look up the town that this is in, because, I really can only find people to live in a property if people live in the area. Does that make sense? Because if we're in an area where people just don't really live and they're not really, moving there, and the town is in decline, no matter what I offer them, they're still going to say, "I'm sorry, I don't really want to move out there." So we really have to find out if this is something that we can sell first and foremost. So Cedar Ridge. I've never heard of that.
They're all fully occupied as well.
So cash flow can be a really attractive thing. So if it cash flows, location isn't immensely important, and I would say for creative finance, location isn't super important either. But CO population. Okay, so it looks like about 2,400 people live in this town. I'd say it's kind of comparable to the size of a high school. And then let's look at the town next door, Orchard City. Orchard City population. Looks like about 3,000, so kind of a large high school in Orchard City. And that appears to be perhaps maybe a 20 or 30-minute drive away. So I'm happy to call your seller, but it always feels bad to make false promises. And I would hate to tell her that we could do something that we can't do, because I will be honest, I don't happen to know anybody who lives in Cedar Ridge, not Cedar Ridge, Cedar Ridge, Colorado.
That makes two of us, Rich.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said that makes two of us. I don't either.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard of it.
So
I just thought I would present it to you,
I see that there's a Pioneer Town Museum, and my best guess about Cedar Ridge, Colorado, is that people used to do mining here or some sort of small industry here, or maybe logging, because I see a lot of these trees around, and that has dried up, and now the town is in decline. I would imagine that this is not exactly a place where people are flipping, renting, more so just a couple stragglers living here. So I think it's going to be really hard to find a buyer for this. Now, with that said, let's understand the numbers of your deal before I turn it down here. So I can see that they're looking for $120,000 in this single family property, but I don't exactly believe it's a single family, because as I look at the property, I see multiple entrances, multiple doors, and most importantly, multiple meters. In fact, I think I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. Maybe 6 meters here. So this looks like at least a 4 to 6 unit property. They've listed it as a single family. Do you know what the use of the building is?
It is multiple use. That's why I kind of wanted you guys to talk. She's not so savvy as well. And she did just go through a separation where she got all of this. So I think she's looking for more information than anything to get rid of said properties.
She's looking for more information as to what type of property she owns?
No, to get how to get rid of it. I don't know if she posted it or somebody posted it for her, or why it's saying single family is what I'm saying.
Looks like 7 units. Okay, so we're looking at a 7 unit property, and it's fully occupied, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well,
I think the rent roll is in your inbox as well.
That changes something. Now we don't need to get somebody to live in the property. More so, we just need to find somebody who's interested in the cash flow. And I think it's going to be hard to get somebody who's interested in the cash flow in a location like this because they may be nervous about the demand for a property like this. However, a fully occupied property is a fully occupied property. And if the cash flow is already there, that definitely makes this a lot easier to swallow pill. So I'm gonna comp a little bit first. So today I have gotten 6 random phone calls from random phone numbers. And you know what I just found out, guys? I picked one of them up today. I hate picking up the call when I don't know who's calling. I picked one of them up. You know what they said? They said, "Are you with the trading program?" And I said, "What trading program?" And they said, "I signed up for a trading course. Is that you?" And I don't have any crypto holdings, any stock holdings, any knowledge on trading whatsoever, actually. Um, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what to do about it. So bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to connect them with somebody from WAP. It says I'm muted. Instagram, did I lose audio? Have I lost audio? Somebody says I'm muted. Well, let me go ahead and fix the audio here. Instagram muted me. Man, that's a little frustrating. It's every day now. Okay, so let's learn a little bit more about the numbers. I see that she's looking for $1.2 million for this property and that she's just done a $10,000 price cut as of today. So it sounds like she's motivated to get this thing done. Do you know what she owes on the property?
Yes, I believe this one is 263, and then the O-Ray, one's higher than the other. It's like 635 and then 265 on the other, I think. 635 on the other one.
Okay. So they have multiple open loans, and I do see some high price points in this area. I see some 500, 600, even $1 million properties here. I wonder if there's any multifamilies that can kind of cue us in into what this might be worth. Here's a multifamily for 949,000. So yeah, there might be some sort of vacation appeal here, and I'm not sure what that might be, but I don't see a body of water. I'm not really sure what the vacation appeal is, but I think there's something going on here. I'm not sure what it is. Now Instagram, um, the audio is going to be cut off by Instagram itself. Every single day you guys ask me, "Hey, do you see that you're muted?" I know, and it's Instagram. I'm not sure why Instagram does this, but I just wanna let you know if the audio disconnects at any point during this live stream, they just mute me 3, 4, 5, 6 times per day, and I'm not sure why. I have a property in Nashville open to creative at 3.25%. Will sell at 20K down. I do about 4 deals per month like that. Nashville, this is great. Can you post the address here so we can have a conversation here shortly? I'm just going to help out this individual and then we can have a conversation. So, what is the property occupied at? What is the income that it's bringing in?
Much.
Sorry about that, Instagram. I know it must be frustrating. You're locked in on something and then the audio just cuts out and you can't hear it. That's I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's a newer phone that I'm streaming on, an iPhone 16, and it's not that it's cut off now, it's that it'll be cut off in probably the next 30 minutes. Instagram will just and I'll have to restart the live stream. It happens every day. Oh, it's a condo. It's a condo. So number 17. Ah, there's a chance we could do it for $0 down, but it's hard to get people to buy condos. I know your rate's good, but think we could find somebody to take it over, but I wouldn't be able to offer you guys any money to take over the debt on that. And if it were a house, we could because that's a really good interest rate. But condos, very hard sells. They don't cash flow for real estate investors. They hardly appreciate, and most people want to live in a single family. So if I am to sell a condo, um, generally speaking, it needs to be in like a Hawaii, Los Angeles, maybe Phoenix, Arizona, New York City, Manhattan. That could be pretty good. But it's hard to do it. And Nashville's a good city. I know Nashville's a desirable city, but that would really just have to be a special building in order for me to find a buyer. So we can look it up briefly here while he's finding that information. 2656. Okay. I'm looking this up. And yeah, it's kind of like a number. Oh, well, that's not a condo. That's a single family. Number 17. I've never seen a single family with a number on it before. That's a first for me. Number 17. Okay, well, we might have a conversation with this realtor here in the future. Very surprised that doesn't look like there's two.
7556.
Well, would you look at that? Very interesting. Okay. Well, we will probably have a conversation. I'll probably give you a call. 7556. And can you tell me the sum of the mortgages, the balance that they owe? In fact, I can check on PropStream if not. Let's see. So here's the property. Now, what do they owe on their mortgage? Now, anytime I'm going to look at what somebody owes on their mortgage, I'm going to put it into a website called PropStream, and PropStream will give me that information. Tried getting New York boss's house under contract. They were hesitant and went with a realtor friend. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen. Looks like they owe about $632,000. Do you think that's right, or is there more debt on the property? Hey, Patrick, you're muted right now. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes.
Looks like they owe about $633,000 on the property. Do you think that's accurate,
Yes.
or do they owe a bit more?
Yes. Yeah, I think she said she owed that on this one, and then the other one must be the 235.
When you say the other one, is that mortgage attached to the same property or a different property?
Nope, different property.
Okay, so she only owes 632, and that 632 looks like it cost her 3,650. And I can see that there's taxes of sorry, there's some loud noises in your background. I'm going to mute your mic. And looks like there's taxes of maybe, well, I think if this gets readjusted, taxes go up. So I'll consider them about 5,000 a month because, well, we can say 4. We can say 4. When you buy a property for a higher amount than the seller purchased it, the taxes are reassessed often and they go up. So we'll say $4,000 divided by 12 is 333. This is a 7 unit. Insurance will be a little expensive. I'm going to guess around 250 per month, but I think I saw you say it was closer to 125. Maybe it'll be 200. And then we'll add our mortgage payment here of, I'm sorry, the mortgage is 3,650. Is that correct? 3,650. So I would imagine maybe she pays something like 4,183. And you had mentioned that this property here is bringing in 7,000 what? Sorry, I've got you muted.
7,556.
Great. So we'll go ahead and take 15% off the top for expenses just to figure out what we're netting. 7,556. I hope that's what you said. I'm going to less 15% from that, so 6,422, and she probably pays around $4,200 per month. So the structure that we would need to do here is we would need to take over the debt she has, which is 632,000. We need to give her a down payment that is proportionate to the cash flow. I'm guessing that's around $50,000 to $70,000. And then we would need to stack an additional set of monthly payments on top of the mortgage to pay her out her equity. Now, my concern is understanding the seller's perspective, and I think I might be onto something here because your seller owes 632 but has an asking price of 1.2 million. That means that she's roughly expecting to make 500 to $600,000 in cash. We can probably only offer her about 50 to $70,000. That's a little bit of a hard pill to swallow. Have you had that conversation with her? Or is that kind of the conversation you're wanting me to have with her? Sorry, I'm still muted.
Yeah, she was waiting for you to give her a call.
So that's the most important thing to say. Hey, so you owe 632, but we can't give you $600,000 to take over the debt. So I'm thinking that I'm going into a conversation here where I'm going to say, hey, you're expecting to make 600. The cash flow we have on this is really only going to allow me to give you a down payment of 50 to 70K. But have we had that conversation with her saying, hey, the nature of seller financing is that you're taking a portion of your equity up front and we're financing the rest?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
it just wasn't a term of how much that was.
Okay. Did you talk to her about any specific down payment?
Not yet. I know she wanted 15%, I think she was saying, but I think with the breakdown and everything you're saying,
Sure.
I'm not sure she totally understands. So
Got it. Got it. Now the maid in the late hours, you're the one who has that single family that has a number on it. Very interesting that a single family has a number on it. But I'll call you. I'll call you shortly here. It may be about 20 or 30 minutes because I've got to get through a couple questions here first. But yeah, it's a single family, and that's my mistake. I saw the number 17, and I'm like, oh, that's number 17 in a building, but it's not. It's a standalone single family, which is kind of interesting. Okay. Does it work in Canada? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But you're not going to do it in Canada. You're going to do it from Canada in the United States. And the property owner that we're having a conversation with, their name is muted right now, Patrick. All right. We'll go in with Mr. or Mrs. Unless, Patrick, you want to answer that question. Property owner that we're having a conversation with today, their name is... Maybe you DM'd it to me. Brooke, you did. Thanks.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the phone is ringing, and we're going to see if Brooke will take 10% of her equity up front and finance us the rest.
Hello.
Hi, Brooke. My name is Richard Taylor. You spoke to my associate Patrick in regards to the property in Cedar Ridge. I'm a landlord in Aurora, Colorado, and we just came across this, and I was hoping that we could have a conversation about the property, see if we can make an offer that makes sense to you.
Okay.
Is now an okay time?
Yes.
Great. So just to run over some basic information, house looks like it's in really, really good condition. I see it's listed as a single family, but in the description, it's a 7-unit. Is that correct?
So the sevenplex is the commercial. Hang on just 1 minute. I got someone trying to keep calling. The sevenplex is the commercial, and the 902 Uray Avenue, that was a single family. Oh, sir, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to call you back. I have someone show up to look at some jet skis.
That's okay.
We'll call you in a few.
Sure. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Okay.
So it sounds like the price of 1.12 includes the 7-unit and the single family. And here's the conversation that I'm going to have. So how do we enter the conversation of, I see that because it says seller financing is available with $750,000 down. So she's not really privy to the other options that are available to real estate investors, as in 20% down at the bank. So it wouldn't make sense to spend $750 on a property that's listed for 1.2, and I don't mean price $750, down payment $750, because $750,000 could purchase you like 3 of these properties. So it's like if you put $750 down on this, not only is your return on $750,000 quite low, to be frank, because that's a down payment for closer to like a $3 or $4 million building, but beyond that, you could spread that $750 out across many, many, many properties. It's also a relatively poor decision to do $750,000 down on a property that's rural. Now, how do we enter the conversation of you're looking for $750,000 down, I'm looking for 10% down, and why is she looking for $750 down? Because she's probably going to make somewhere around that when her mortgages are paid off. Our information might be slightly inaccurate, but here's how I would have that conversation. I would start to build rapport with her just by talking to her about the property and hopefully conveying that I know what I'm talking about. You'll see that I brought up that I'm a landlord in Aurora, Colorado. I do have property in Colorado, and I'm not looking to buy this one. I'm looking to wholesale this one. And I'd want to build a little bit of rapport with her, which is a relationship, because people only do business with those that they like and trust. So it's my job to make her feel comfortable through expressing understanding of the business and her needs. Now, how would I pivot to you're going to make $750 if you sell this normally to I'd like to give you $75 down? Well, here's what I would say. I'd say I'm really interested in buying this with a loan, but I'm running into a bit of a hurdle. My client or my associate shared with me that you're generating about $7,600 per month in profit, or I should say in revenue. Now, if I buy this with a loan, they're looking for about 20% down. But the monthly payment on the loan is going to be about $8,000, probably about $9,000 per month with taxes and insurance. So the problem is lending guidelines prevent them from giving me a loan on an investment property that loses that much money per month. And the reason is because it kind of looks like they're giving me the loan with the intention of foreclosing. They're like, we'll give you this loan. We'll put down 80%. You fund 20%, and then we're just going to take it back immediately because you can't afford this mortgage. So if it's an investment loan, it's about whether or not the income of the property covers the expense of the mortgage. And if it doesn't, it becomes a little bit harder to get that loan. So the way that I would enter into seller finance is, I'd really like to buy this normally, but my monthly payment is above what the property rents out for. The other thing I'll say to lower her down payment expectations is, well, the bank wants me to put down about $200K. So I could probably buy about 3 properties worth $1 million for $750K down. Are you only willing to sell if you get that $750K down? And then if she said yes, what I would pivot to there is I would talk about the return on investment. I would say yes to 750. I wouldn't counter it, because what would happen if I countered her 750 with something like 70K? The call is over. The call is done. I would say yes to $750,000. And she says seller financing, meaning that we're taking over the debt. So we give her the 750 down. And this is just a hypothetical scenario, a conversation that we're having. And then I ask her how much the mortgages cost. Now we have an idea. We think they're around $4,000 to $4,500 per month. The property's bringing in $7,000 per month, but with expenses, which we'll talk to her about, it's probably closer to $6,000 per month. So chances are she makes about $1,500. Now, we have to give her monthly payments for her equity, because she's going to have equity and we'll have to stack monthly payments. Now, the property's only making $1,500 per month. So we're going to make her additional monthly payments on top of the cost of the mortgage so that she can pay down her equity, or more so we can pay down her equity. Now, here's the problem. She's going to ask for $1,500 to $2,000 in monthly payments. And you know what I'm going to say? I'll say yes. I'll say yes. And we'll lay the whole deal out on the table that she's looking for. You would like a buyer to come in and put down $750,000. You would like a buyer to pay your $4,000 loan per month and then stack another $2,000 on top of it in equity payments to you. The property is generating $6,000 after expenses, and I'm paying you $6,000 per month. And then we would just sort of spell out the deal. I would reiterate the terms. I'd say, so just understand here, I'm roughly putting down about 3 times what the bank wants, which that's okay because this is a good property. And then monthly, I pay about 6 and I bring in about 6. Is that kind of the deal that we have going on here? And at that point in time, she's going to realize what she's asking. She's asking me to burn $750,000. She wants me to put down $750 on a rural property just to lose money per month. And I'm never going to say no. I'm really never going to say no. I'm not going to say, I'm not willing to do that. I just won't do that. Rather, I'll say, okay, is that kind of the buyer that you're looking for on this one? I'm just trying to understand here. And when I spell out the terms of the deal in a very simple manner, we line up all of the expenses, we figure out how much it brings in, and we figure out that it's a devastating deal to the buyer here. I'm just going to ask her if that's what she's looking for. And 8 times out of 10 that I do this, they realize on the phone what they're asking. And I say, I'll be honest, I am hoping to make a little bit of money. Is that something you're okay with? And then she'll change all of her terms. And that's how we'll get there. Now, I am kind of nervous about the location. I really am. So I'm probably going to tell her in some fashion after we come to terms that I'm going to try to find a buyer for her, because it really doesn't make sense for me to, it's just 2,000 people live here. Everybody's mother, everybody's father. It's hard. It's really hard. So anyways, that's how I would enter that seller financing conversation, and that's how I would negotiate the seller financing terms. My strategy is more so based on holding up a mirror than tearing people down and criticizing their property and criticizing the deal that they're asking. It's more about holding up a mirror and having them see what they're asking, because oftentimes when we're a seller and we have something, we only think this is a nice property and I'm selling this property, and we don't really think what selling this property means for a buyer. And in this scenario, I would imagine it's a very rough return on investment. I show, I do not tell, because telling makes people angry. Asking is just asking a question, but sometimes we can ask questions that really have different meanings, right? We've encountered this before. Somebody can ask you a question, but they're not really asking you a question to get the answer. They're asking you a question because there's a hidden statement or jab beneath that question. And that's kind of how I go about negotiating with people. Anyways, we have another person to speak to, Patrick. I'll pick up the phone if she gives me another call about that. I'm going to save her to my contacts now. Let me just go ahead and save her to my contacts. We're looking at Patrick. I'm sorry, I lost Patrick. There it is. Her name is Brooke. This is her phone number. Let's add her to my contacts. Brooke, CO seller. And then let's grab her phone number here. And then I'll shoot her a text. Hey, Brooke. We just spoke about your CO multifamily. I'm going to say, this is my cell. This is my cell. Feel free to call anytime. Smiley face. Okay. So the next person that we're going to speak to here is the wholesaler 67. What's going on today?
What's going on? How's your car?
Man, that's frustrating, isn't it? I got new rims put on it, and I was so excited to see the new rims, and then I looked down, and my brand new carbon lip is destroyed. It's just cracked and scraped and loose off the car. And I'm like, man, that's kind of rough. So they're gonna get me a new one, but accidents happen, so it is what it is. Anyways, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. So I have the property in Jacksonville that we spoke about yesterday. The address is in your DMs. So I did find out it is fully occupied, so there's no vacancy. And so the realtor says that the buyer wants to walk away with $100,000 after closing. And like I can structure it kind of how I want. Would you be able to call him and like give credibility, also kind of negotiate with him? Because I don't know kind of what would work with this, because it'd be 15% down and not like 10%.
Okay. I think we spoke about this yesterday, the $100,000 down.
Yes.
Yes to the Bay Area creative financing. Baltimore. I don't know why I don't see deals in Baltimore, but I would be very open to it. It matches everything that I look for in a market. I like that. Okay. So this is Maynard. We looked at it yesterday. It's 2 triplexes. I want 85 down. They want $100,000 down. That's okay. I'm sure we can come to terms here. Is there a mortgage on the property?
That's a good question. I don't think so. He didn't bring it up, so I would assume probably not. I mean, the $100,000 could be like the paid off, like mortgage, but I don't know.
Okay, it's always important to use PropStream for this purpose. So I'd always recommend to check out PropStream. So Maynard Street in Jacksonville, Florida, looks like it has a mortgage of $211,000. I can see 2 of them. Looks like one of them is an unknown default. So it looks like they defaulted on the mortgage and they took out a loan. And interesting. That may not be there anymore. I'm going to guess that they owe about 158 because the default shows it's from 2006. I don't think that's right. So I'm going to say they owe about $158,000 on the house. That's what we're seeing on PropStream right here at 7% interest, costing them about probably $1,600 per month. So we just need to factor that in, just like we did on the other property. So yes, I'm happy to give him a call and see if we can come to some terms here. You're speaking to a Mr. or Miss
Leo.
Leo. All right, Leo, let's see what you got.
I told him you were my partner in that, and by the way, my name is Trey. So like, just say you spoke with Trey or something. I don't know. I'm gonna leave you up to it.
Okay. And you guys discussed seller financing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm guessing he doesn't know you as the Wholesaler 67. Is there another name that you commonly go by?
Yeah, Trey.
Oh, I thought he was. I'm sorry. He's Leo.
He's Leo.
He's Leo. My apologies, Trey.
No problem.
You're welcome to join my Discord. That's what I'm calling my Discord members deals right now.
You have reached Leo Ross. I'm not available at the time. Please leave a detailed message and I'll get back to you. Thank you.
He sounds like a fun guy, man. I'd love to have a conversation with him. Do you want me to double dial? It sounded like he declined that phone call pretty quick.
I mean, it's worth a shot.
Sure. And then next is my Nashville realtor. So a lot of people ask me about getting houses for no qualification with little money down. We are going to have that conversation next. What's the Discord? So there's a link in my bio if you'd like to attend. Just click the link in my bio and show up to the class, and you will see my live stream screen, my professional camera, and I'm happy to bring you guys up for questions.
You have reached Leo Ross. I'm not available at the time. Please leave a detailed message and I'll get back to you.
Okay, I just got a call from another person. Looks like that's going to be somebody I haven't spoke to yet. I don't think I gave them a call. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that voicemail. Okay, I kind of want to pick up one of my random calls one of these days so you can see how crazy it is. The company WAP.com is somehow, some way giving people my direct cell. And They call me every day. Look at this. See all these missed calls? Every single day they call me. I can shoot Leo a text. I'll shoot him a text. One of these days I should pick one up and just show you guys because it's really crazy. They say that they bought some sort of crypto thing and that my phone number is on it. And I'm like, dude, I literally have never bought cryptocurrency ever. Okay. So I'm going to say, hey, Leo, my name is Richard. I'm a landlord, or I don't need to say that. My name is Richard. You spoke with my partner, Trey. Calling about Maynard. And I will add him to my contacts just in case he'd like to speak. Okay. Now we're going to speak to the realtor. Do you ever have to put anything down if you sell your spot in the contract? I would say that if you don't structure your deal properly, you may have to put down earnest money. But if you do structure it properly, no audio. All right, Instagram. See, I was right about that. Oh, Instagram. I just restarted. I know I'm muted on IG, but you see how you saw my hands the whole time? I promise you, I didn't mute that. Instagram decided, you know what? He's teaching people how to make money, and I don't really like that. You know, Instagram removed my ability to send people links a couple days ago, and I appealed it, and we won the appeal. But they removed my ability to send links, and the reason was promoting fraudulent business models. Now I talk about flipping houses, and the funny thing is, there is nobody here who is not part of a real estate investment. Isn't that interesting? Nobody here is not part of a real estate investment. It's virtually impossible to not be part of a real estate investment if you're a functioning individual in the United States. And I'll tell you what I mean. Let's say you own your house. Where did you get that house? You either got it off of a landlord or a flipper or a developer. There's no in between. And if your parents gave it to you, where did they get it? They either got it off of a landlord or a flipper or a developer. And if you built your property, great, you're a developer. So you can't not be part of a real estate investment. So when they ban me, I'm just thinking to myself, it seems fairly straightforward what we're telling people to do, yet people like TJR don't get banned for, well, you can follow his trading history, or you can read the book A Random Walk Down Wall Street and learn that you quite literally cannot successfully consistently trade. It's not really doable. You can be a very good gambler and do well in gambling, but it's pretty much the same thing as trading. So I see these other people, and I'm like, man, y'all are ripping on Instagram, and I'm just getting muted and banned. And I got my YouTube account banned at 100,000 subs. And all we're talking about is flipping houses. It's crazy. I think he wants to have a conversation now about Maynard. He just texted me.
Hello?
Hey, Leo, this is Richard. How you doing?
All right, how's it going?
Doing well. My partner told me to give you a call. He is my acquisitions manager. I am the landlord. And this is a very appealing type of property to me. I love the layout of this. This thing just looks like a cash cow. So I heard he discussed some potential of seller financing with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, most people aren't interested in that. You know, we usually got to call about 100 people before one person says yes. What has you willing to look at an offer like that?
I mean, he's an investor too, so he understands that in order for with the market being the way it is and the interest rates being the way it is, someone going out and getting a $660,000 loan, with the interest rates being how high it is right now, it's hard for them to cash flow it. So it's kind of like the only option you have.
Man, you're
Is
speaking
to
my
do seller
language.
finance.
Every single day, you know what my seller finance pitch is? It's pretty crazy. Every single day, I call a realtor, and I'll look at a multifamily listed for $1 million, and I'll say, hey, this looks great. How much are you guys bringing in per month? And they say $5,000 of cash flow. And I explain to them, I say, hey, my mortgage is $8K per month. What do I do here? And they're just like,
Yeah.
that sounds like a you problem, man. That sounds like a you problem. And I'm like, man, how is anybody going to buy this?
No, it sounds like a listing agent problem if you can't sell it.
Yeah. Well, I love having conversations like this, man. Sounds like you know what you're talking about here. What kind of terms is your seller looking for? I heard something about 15% down.
So it's a tricky situation. So he does have a mortgage on both of the buildings, but they are pretty low. In order for it to work out, he would need a larger upfront down payment too. If you guys wanted to have both of the liens paid off, you know, once we close, right, and then he will finance the other portion of the amount.
That sounds doable.
He wants to net something to his pocket too. So the other option is, you know, a larger down payment up front, and then, you know, he take care of at least one of the liens on the property, and then we do it subject to a listing wraparound. That's another option. But I think most people with, you know, coming in doing sales financing, most of the feedback we've gotten is, hey, we would like those 2 liens paid off.
Now, when we say liens, are we talking about the lien that the mortgage company has on the property?
Mortgage company. Yeah, the mortgage lien. I mean, mortgage. I just say 2 mortgages.
Oh, so got it. Yeah. I was thinking he didn't pay the contractor, and I was like, now wait a second.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Okay.
No, I should have just said mortgages. Yeah, so it's just 2 mortgages.
Perfect. Okay, so we got 2 mortgages here. I honestly just need to understand what my cash out is and what my cash in is. So, what's your guys' occupancy looking like on this?
It's fully occupied. The tenant the last tenant just moved in July 15th.
Ah, that's my birthday, man. This is a good sign. Okay, so we're looking at a fully occupied property. What is it bringing in per month?
It's bringing in $6,158.
$6,150. Perfect.
Three of the units. No, 1, 2, 3. 3 of the units are under market rent.
Okay.
Because they moved in on specials.
And are those month-to-month leases or year-long leases that we'll need to honor?
Nah, year-long leases. Some end at different dates, but yeah, year-long leases.
Okay, perfect. And I'm wondering, you said 2 separate properties. Are they on the same parcel, or are these 2 separate deals?
No. So it looks like they're on separate parcel. They look like they're on the same parcel, but when you actually go to the tax records, you'll see that they are separate parcels. But the way they were built, it's like when you walk, it's like a path. It's like a path going in between both of them, and you can go to both sides of both properties.
Got it. Okay, so we're technically talking about 2 different deals here. So I guess we'll start with the first of the 2. I guess I'll just divide the asking price by 2, $330,000. Do you know what mortgage is attached to the $330,000? I guess hypothetical asking price for that.
I have to dig it up. I don't have it like right in front of me.
Got it. Okay.
The mortgage amounts.
Do you think it's like most of the $330K value, or like half or a quarter? Do you have any idea about equity?
I think it's probably like about half. I'm actually looking at. Hold on.
No worries. Take your time.
I think it's about half or a little over half. Let me see. Okay, I have it here. So, like for instance, 1042 Maynard, mortgage balance is 158,829, and then the 1052 Maynard is 197,639.
Okay, so we've got a bit of a hybrid structure going on here. We're going to take over the debt that's tied to the property. We're going to give them a down payment, and then we're going to finance the rest with a seller carryback, correct? And we could do that with a wrap or a sub-2 or some transaction to make that work.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. So I think the one with 197 is really simple here. $197,000, and he's technically asking 330. So there's about 130K of equity. I'd be inclined to probably give him $40,000 of that up front, and then make him payments for the rest on just one of them. So he'll be getting pretty close to half of what his equity is up front. And then I would just make him payments on the other one. And then on the other one, I'd probably be doing a similar structure. So I'd probably counter the 100 down that you guys are looking for with 80 down, but I will throw in the 10K or so in closing costs that we'll also see. I'll cover all of those fees. So I guess effectively 90,000 down for your seller. Do you think we're in the realm of negotiations, or is he just like, no, absolutely not?
Now if you're planning on, so you would do individual subject to on each lien. I mean, on each mortgage. Pretty much.
We'd have to. Each one is going to have their own parcel number.
I mean, potentially
2 separate contracts, and then each contract 40K down plus closing costs, 40K down plus closing costs, and then we're going to stack an additional monthly payment. And I don't want your seller to be in this arrangement for too long. I want him to access his capital. So I would probably only do this over a 6-year period of time, and then on year 6, we'll go ahead and refinance out everything else that we owe your client.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, I think that's fair. 80. So he'll net 80 minus, gross be 80K minus whatever fees he has.
Yeah, whatever sort of commission agreement you guys have come to. And I don't have a buyer's agent here, so you're welcome to represent, or you can be a facilitator on this deal. I think you guys call it a buyer broker agreement or something.
Yeah, buyer broker agreement. Yeah.
I'm glad I got my realtor terminology down, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that. I mean, I think you're in a ballpark. I think he wanted to net somewhere around 100K to his pocket, but I think after all of the interest we got, I think he realizes that he's not going to be able to net that with this situation.
And then let's throw in closing costs. I bet we're looking at about 6 to 7K closing per property, because it'll technically be 2 separate closings, because or I guess we could package them together, but different parcel numbers. So we're probably looking at $6,000 to $7,000 closing costs each. I'll cover that. So I would effectively say $80,000 down for the package, and then on top of that, we're going to allocate another 12 or 14 or 15 to the closing costs that usually both of us would split. So effectively, he's probably getting within about, I would say, 7K of what he's looking for with that 100K down, given the fees that we're covering.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. Is it? Can I text you? To my email and my partner's email, so you can send that breakdown to me, and then we can run it by him.
Absolutely. And I own a number of commercial buildings like this as well. Off the top of my head, I've got pretty much the same thing, 5 commercial units in Omaha, Nebraska. And if he'd ever like to speak to a seller about working with me and being in a long-term arrangement with me, I'd love to have that conversation with him.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. I'll send over my portfolio. We'll go ahead and send you some proof of funds here. And, sometimes they want to see credit scores, so I'll throw that in as well, just to make sure that everything's squared away. And then the last thing I'll give for kind of a protection instrument to the seller is we can write in here that I'll forfeit my right to a foreclosure process if 2 months of payments are missed. And I'll sign a promissory note acknowledging that. And that's largely so he doesn't have to worry, hey, how do I get my property back if this guy is no good?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, let me go ahead.
So I'm gonna send you over a text with the emails, and then just write that up and send that to me, please.
Perfect. I will go ahead and email that over to you, and then please let me know if there's anything else that I can send.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll be in touch soon.
All right.
Bye. So that would probably yield about $20,000 in the finder's fee. And if you're wondering why it would yield about $20,000, well, to buy a $660,000 property, you are putting down about $145,000 with closing costs. That's if you're buying it with a loan. Here, we've offered $80,000 down, and we can probably stack another $20,000 down because we are still saving a real estate investor $40,000, $45,000. And the qualification process that they would have to jump through, the hoops that they'd have to jump through, the income verifications, whatever it may be. Now, this is my students' deal. Every single day I work to call and close their deals. Obviously, I can't do it for every deal, but I'm mainly just trying to provide value and demonstrate that this can be done. So you see a mix of a couple things happening there. We're looking at rapport, for one. Did you see that I was having these kind of friendly, I guess British people call it banter conversation? That's how you build trust. And I've got the Colorado woman calling me back now. Let's have a conversation with her as well. I don't think this one's going to go so well. I don't love this deal. Hello?
Yeah, hi there, Brooke Skillo calling you back.
Hey, Brooke, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. I take it you're selling some jet skis.
Yes.
And towards the end of the summer, so just in time.
Yeah.
So for this property here, I think we were just talking a little bit about the layout. You've got a single family, and then you also have some sort of commercial building attached to it, huh?
No. So the one at 210 Northwest 5th Street, that's a commercial property and it's a 7-plex. One of the units is 4-bedroom, 2-bath. The rest of the units are 1-bedroom, 1-bath.
Got it. Okay.
The one at 902 Uray, if you look at it on the assessor site, it's going to pull up as single family because we bought it as a big old Victorian. But then we remodeled it and made it into 4 units.
Okay, got it. So we have a 4-unit property and then that other one on Uray. Am I saying that right?
The 4 unit with the shop is on Uray.
Okay. Got it.
The 7-plex is at 210 Northwest 5th.
Awesome. Sounds like a good package. And I understand you guys are maybe I misheard this. I just got off the phone with another seller. Were you bringing in 7,600 or so, or is that somebody else?
That sounds about right. I'd have to double check my numbers, but I think I sent our rent rolls.
Got it. Okay. And I always try to see if I can buy it with a normal loan first. My mortgage payment's coming out to about $8,200 on this thing. Lender's asking for about $250,000 down. So if I'm paying $8,200 and we're bringing in 76, obviously not the best use of a $250,000 down payment. Now, I think my partner had discussed this with you and offered a bit of a seller financing arrangement.
Yes. So the only issue with that is that I do still have mortgages on these.
Okay.
So I think I told him the numbers. I think I owe like $635 on the 7-plex, and I think I owe about $225 on the one on Uray.
Now, are these available to be purchased separately? Because I will say I'm mainly interested in that 7-unit.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so what would you say the asking price is for the 7-unit, and then what would you say the debt is on the 7-unit?
I had it at 1.2. I think I just lowered it a little bit.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think the mortgage is about $635.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So I must have misunderstood that the 1.2 does not represent the 7-unit and the other property on Uray. That's just for the 7-unit property.
That's just the 7-unit, yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Now, generally speaking, 20% down buys me one property like this. So if I were to spend 700, I could probably access around $3 million of real estate. I am kind of looking to stay in that range, but I did see that you were looking for $750,000 down. Is that still the case?
Well, I would like to get that, just so I can pay off, obviously, my mortgage and then have some cash.
Oh, of course. I should have inferred that.
Otherwise, I'm happy to own or carry. Just I have to pay off those first.
Oh, I understand. Now the other properties I own, I've got about 16 buildings right now, 23 units. All but 3 have mortgages on them. Other people's mortgages, other people's names. They may be veterans, they could be conventional loans, they could be FHA loans, even loans that you can't assume I've taken over. And I kind of do it the same way people get married. And I know that sounds absolutely insane, but I'll let you know what I mean here. Essentially, I ran into a seller in Denver, Colorado, more specifically Aurora, Colorado, and they had this beautiful interest rate on their property. It was like a 2.6% interest rate, and they had this mortgage, and the mortgage was for the entire balance of the property. It was the biggest headache in the world to them, but I just saw that beautiful interest rate that we couldn't get anymore. And I said, hey, I really want that. What do we do here? And they said, well, I own the property in a trust, and technically you could join my trust and take over the payments for me. And we can stipulate that if you ever stop making the payments, you get kicked out of the trust. So rather than selling the property without paying off the debt, they simply added an owner to it, and that owner is responsible. And the reason I say it's the same way people get married is while I was doing the transaction for all my other properties, I realized this is kind of like if you were a wealthy individual Your spouse couldn't afford the mortgage, but you still wanted them to be on the ownership of the property. So they just joined the ownership through the entity that owned it. And I realized that it was a really good way to purchase property without paying off the mortgage. So I wonder if I were to connect you with that seller, or maybe a couple other sellers in Colorado who have done this with me, and they said that this was a favorable experience for them, would you be open to that sort of transaction?
I maybe, but I will say that makes me feel pretty leery.
Sure.
I like pretty clean transactions.
Sure. Totally understand. The only issue I'm running into is 750 accesses me about $3 million of real estate, a little bit more than 3 million. Whereas here, if I put down that 750 and we just pay off your mortgage, you're really only getting maybe like $100,000 from that. We could probably keep the mortgage in place and still give you that $100,000. The other issue I'm running into is I would imagine the mortgage you have may cost $3,500, maybe $4,000 per month, but I've still got to make monthly payments to you for the equity that you haven't received, the seller carry. That's probably going to get me pretty close to that 7,600, and I'm sure there's expenses associated with managing a property out here. So I'm guessing that I'd be putting down 750, making a monthly payment to you, and then probably only making a couple $100s per month, which is also kind of a hard use of 750. So I think in this scenario, I probably would have to kind of leave the mortgages in place, make that payment for you, and then pay you on top of this if this would make sense to me. But I think I can get you the profit figure you're looking for.
What kind of cash do you have to play with? And the reason I'm asking is there is a possibility that maybe you could assume the loan, the current loan, which I think is at 3.5 or 4%.
They won't let me take over any more mortgages now through assumptions, as I own.
This is a private owner carry.
Okay, cool. So you owner finance this, and now you're able to sell it on owner finance too.
Right.
Did you put down that a whole 750 to owner finance this? Because I saw the sale was recorded on public record as a little bit less than you were asking.
I can't remember how much we put down initially. Honestly, I don't remember. That was several years ago when we purchased it.
Got it.
But I guess what I'm saying is, depending on how much liquid you have, this gentleman might consider doing the same thing for you, doing it as an owner carry, or you can making this loan assumable since it's a private individual, and then you can pay the rest in cash.
For sure. So we
kind of just pay me off, so you have a lower interest rate.
We take over that debt, the 3 to 4%. And do you know what that debt is costing monthly right now?
Let me get out here. I want to say it's around 3,500.
3,500. I figured it would be around there. And then I'd probably be making you payments of at least a couple thousand per month, right?
Probably. I mean, I'd have to do the math on it.
I am looking to keep my payments below what the property makes each month so that I can generate money. So we're bringing in 7,600. Usually these things have about 15% expense margins, maybe 8% for management, and then maybe any fixes or utilities that we have to pay throughout the month. Do you think that's probably pretty close to what it is?
Let's see. So I think I could send him some expenses. Your water and sewer, it's right around 200 a month. Obviously there's a little give and take. It could be a little less, it could be a little more, depending on the month. Trash is $133. And then insurance.
And do you self-manage this?
I do. I manage all my rentals.
Oh, cool. Are you in this area?
Well, that's why I'm selling. I moved about 4 hours away. When you manage your own rentals, that's a little tough.
Right.
Otherwise, I'd never sell them. They're great properties. They do well.
Got it. So I'd probably be looking at about 10% for management expenses. So the 7,600 that we're bringing in, that's going to turn into 680 for me for management. And then you've got a couple other expenses, maybe totaling $500 a month, it seems.
Probably around there.
Okay. Yeah. And then mortgage is costing around $3,500. Does that include taxes and insurance, or are those separate?
Those are separate.
Got it. And then taxes and insurance, maybe
The insurance would probably be included in that 500 a month. The total insurance per year is $81.19, so it's $8,119.
8119 divided by 12. So that's about $676 per month. But you also shared the water and other expenses that we have here. So we've got $676 for insurance per month. And then taxes, they were showing up as around $4,000 a year, which is about $333 per month. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think they were around 3,500 or something. I don't remember. I think I sent them the assessor's page.
Okay, so 7,600 comes in, which turns into 6,800 with 10% management, and then we have 676 in insurance, and then about 350 per month or 333 per month for taxes, and then we probably have about 300 in utility expenses as well, assuming nothing else goes on throughout the year. Mortgages costing around $3,500. So it looks like the net profit from this is about $2,000 per month, and then obviously I have to pay you below the net profit. So I'd like to give you most of it, maybe $1,500 per month.
Yeah, so I guess just, needing to know what you're thinking here. I prefer not to do the, more
It's not going well.
transactions, preferably.
Right, and I'd like to buy this with a loan and just pay off your mortgage, but loan costs well above what the property brings in. So we've got to figure out something kind of
Right.
creative here. So if I paid you $1,500 per month, I would be making roughly $500, which is good. However, $500 per month traded for $750,000 is a bit of a pickle.
Right, I understand that.
So the structure that I would suggest is this. Because I can't really just based on the expenses that are attached to this, I can't really spin it a different way that wouldn't be trading 750 for 500 a month, which is probably, I'm guessing if somebody broke into your house and stole 750 from you and said, "Don't cry, I'll give you 500 a month," that probably wouldn't appease you, and I'm kind of in the same boat. So I'm thinking that what I would do here is I'd agree to your asking price, no problem, but I'd have to take over the debt that's in place with that funky structure. However, I've got seller after seller after seller that has done this with me who can speak to you and who's in this long-term arrangement with me. And then I'd probably balloon you out all the equity on year 6 so that we don't have to stay in this funky arrangement for a while, because I just would have a hard time trading 750 for 500 a month.
Right.
I know it's
Well,
funky and I know
look
it's
at
weird though.
The letter of intent that he sent, and definitely, because it has to make sense on my end too. It has to be worthwhile for me to sell it. So an interest rate of 5% is not, especially if it's interest only, is really probably not going to be enticing.
Totally. So we attach the 5% or maybe 7% onto the seller carryback of about, looks like $650,000. Now that 7% interest is going to inherently be $4,300 per month. So now I'm kind of in the same position with the bank where I'm looking at, hey, I pay $3,500 on this loan, I pay $4,000 to the seller, and now I'm $1,000 underwater for a big down payment.
Right. Yeah, I understand that.
So the way that I do it is I offer the interest in the principal. We don't use a literal rate. What I do is I offer above what the property might be worth, and I have that act as my interest rate, because a 7% rate inherently has a high monthly payment attached to it. So I totally get the need to get market interest rates. It's only fair that you ask, but we're just kind of, our hands are tied when I think about now trading a big down payment for super negative money per month.
Sure.
I'll propose a structure, and if it doesn't make any sense, we can go our separate ways. But I think this is what I'd have to do. I'd kind of have to keep that debt in place for probably 6 years. I'd have to make you monthly payments. I think the monthly payments would probably need to be closer to 500 to 1,000 per month to get my cash flow worth. And then I'd probably have to give you a down payment that you would net in cash, because we're not paying off the mortgage. And that down payment for me would probably be about $75K, given the cash flow that we're dealing with.
Well, you guys need whatever in writing, and I'll take a look at it. I think, well, a couple things. The fourplex with the shop, that one you probably could do a DSCR, which would be a pretty low down payment.
Yeah, like 20% or so.
Yeah. otherwise, you know, I don't know if you've seen, I have a little duplex in Delta as well. That one I don't owe hardly anything on. I would only need about 75,000 down, and I can order carry that. So
we'll text those other two over so that I can do my due diligence on those and just sort of shoot you over my offers. And of course, I do want you to have references and people you can speak to about doing a weird transaction like this. So if we're able to come to numbers, just let me know the amount of people you'd like to speak to or the amount of attorneys you'd like to talk to about a structure like this, and we'll see if we can make that happen.
Okay, yeah. And I think too, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but I sent him rent rolls for all those properties. So basically, you can see that it's going to be $24.40 a month in rent. I have that one listed. I just lowered it to $290, I think, or $299, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I tell you what, I've got these numbers stuck in my head right now, and I don't want to lose them. Send me over those and then the information, or more so, send them to. I think you spoke to Patrick about this, and he'll relay that to me. He just makes these calls, and I pay him if we end up closing. He's not a realtor or anything; he's just sort of a caller. But send them over to him, and we'll go ahead and do the numbers on them, and I'll send you over some offers. And you know, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's been a pleasure to speak with another landlord in Colorado.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much for your time today, Brooke. We'll be in touch, okay?
All right, have a good day.
Bye-bye. I'm gonna be cocky for a moment. It is criminal how good I am at this. Holy shit. It's just like I see this roadmap in my head. I see seller is right here and I want to be right here. And without saying no along the roadmap, we can get her there. We can get her there. And we can get the other guy there as well. So it's all about reframing. They have a frame in their mind. And as soon as you disagree, you have to understand that disagreeing with somebody turns off the prefrontal cortex in psychology. Do you understand what I mean by that? Have you ever been in an argument with your partner or anybody, and then all of a sudden you're not in your like homeostasis state? You're angry and you lose all logic, and it's hard to form sentences. Why? Because your prefrontal cortex, your decision-making part of your brain, is quite literally not getting blood flow as soon as somebody disagrees with you. So if I say no to her on the phone, she's not hearing me. Rather, negotiation is about reframing. When she said 7% interest, that's a terrible interest rate. But did I say no? No. I said, oh, okay, cool. And 7% interest on this amount. Right. Now I would be paying above the income of the property in that scenario. And then you stay quiet. And what does she say? She says, yes, that's right. Yes, you would. So we've reframed it. And this is a trainable skill. This is a trainable skill. I do want to let you know that I was quite literally in special ed classes when I was a kid, because I just couldn't make shit work. I couldn't make shit happen. And then I started making calls and more calls and more calls. And then all of a sudden, I found something that I was good at when otherwise I was terrible at literally everything else in life, from athletics to academics to making friends, right? To my relationship with my parents. But I figured out that you can train this. It doesn't matter if you start out bad, you can train this stuff. And that's what we do in Hold My Hand Wholesale. It's important to note, this is not my lead and this is not my deal. This is Patrick's lead and this is Trey's lead. These are both other people's deals, and I'm simply showing them how to have this sort of conversation. So now for the rest of today's live stream, which will be about an hour, I'm just going to take questions. I have one more. No, it's not true. I have one more person to call. And I'm going to do the exact same thing you just heard me do. And then for the next hour, I'm going to take questions. Okay. All right. Briefly allow me to let my editors know about what just happened here. I think one of them is on an airplane. I'm going to try to call him. He might not be available. Let me try to call him, because guys, you know, we're killing two birds with one stone here. Filming this just made my video for tomorrow. It's just made my video for tomorrow. And then this also is free YouTube content, as I'm also filming with my Canon up here. So I'm gonna briefly kill two birds with one stone and just say, yo, we just had a banger negotiation with two people. These are both awesome videos, but I also want these to be turned into a YouTube video. He might be on a plane though. I'm flying him out here. and then we have another call. So stick around if you want to see me do it again. Yo, are you on a plane right now?
No. I'm driving over with the lady. I'll be at your house like an hour and a half.
Oh, you're in Oregon.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. I thought you were maybe on a plane. Well, dude, I'm on fire today. I've just had 2 conversations with 2 different sellers. One of them is a 6-unit seller, and then one of them is selling some sort of 7-unit property. And yeah, I they're just the way that they're handled, and then what I say after is just it's just some of my best work ever. And I think that I talk about the psychology behind why I speak that way, and then how I take the seller from point A to point B without disagreeing with them, and more so reframing it. And same thing as yesterday. Hopefully, we can not let any of these slip through the cracks, because this is true, like pure viral gold. Um, YouTube video out of those 2 calls, you can package both of them together. And then short forms for each of the calls as well.
Amazing. So you've had 2 phone calls today. You started the stream like an hour and a half ago, right?
Yeah, about an hour and a half ago, I would say. And these are just for the first hour and a half. I'd say the first 20 minutes is kind of slow, and then we start to pick up. But yeah, 2 separate short forms. So write that down. Negotiation 1, negotiation 2. We'll post those throughout this week. And then long form video of both of those put together. And then, minimal edits needed on the long form.
Perfect. Awesome. Sounds good. I got you.
Okay, huge. Definitely write those down, dude, because I get anxious when another thing happens and I forget the 2 that happened. So I need you to be my eyes and ears on this and write these down, because I will forget, and you'll ask me and I'll be like, man, too much shit's going on. I forgot.
I got you, dude. I'll write them down.
Okay. All right. Huge. Thanks so much. Talk soon.
Yeah, man.
Bye. Great. Now I'll just let you know, guys, that making content really did change my life, and I really think y'all should make content too. And if you're thinking that you don't have anything interesting to talk about, you do. We all follow somebody who just is a regular ass person who talks about something somewhere, and that could be you too. And I really think, guys, that if Bitcoin was the wave in 2012, and oh my God, we missed out on that wave, content is the wave in 2026, and you haven't missed out on it. You haven't. But we've only been in a world where everybody's online for about 20 years now. We've really only been in that world for about 20 years now. But I want to let you know that this is the new standard. And eventually it'll be, oh, well, everybody, this has just always been the way it's been. And if you're one of the people who has a standing on the internet, that's as valuable as owning your own house, man. It's like you're just creating the wheel for yourself. And I'd heavily recommend picking up the phone and filming just anything, guys, just anything. So I know that's not what we're here to talk about today. I just wanted to let you know that was a really pivotal for me to understand my industry. That's it. Okay. We have one more conversation that we're going to have today. This conversation is with somebody who has a house for sale at what they owe. They have a house for sale at what they owe. And I'm going to be giving them a call. This is in Nashville, Tennessee. I teach a program on getting 3% interest rates under contract without qualifying for those loans. We kind of touched on that in the last conversation where I talked about getting married, somebody joining the trust that owns the property, right, et cetera. Well, we're going to be having the same conversation on this beautiful, beautiful property in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee. If you don't know anything about Nashville, Nashville is a really desirable place to live. And I've never been there before, but I own properties all over Tennessee, and I'd be happy to have a conversation about another one. In all the markets we've called today, I've been an owner, except Florida. I don't own anything in Florida. Very purposefully, I don't own anything in Florida because I see insurance expenses going through the roof in the next 5 years there. And we also see some crazy market saturation over there as well. Very hard to appreciate. Now, Instagram, let me know if I get muted, because Instagram likes to mute me. They do. All right. So we're going to give this person a call. I think that we were talking to a Mr. Christian Lanes. Hold My Hand Wholesale or American Dream Project. Any difference? American Dream Project is about buying property for $0 down to live in your primary residence. It's about stopping renting. It's not about wholesaling. It's not about making money. It's not about entrepreneurship. It's about, we are in an environment right now where nobody can afford a house. This is how you buy a house for $0 down without qualifying. And if you're like, well, that doesn't exist, I am an owner of a property in San Antonio, Texas that I would sell to you for $0 down. I would hold the mortgage and you wouldn't have to qualify, and it's $0 down. Let me know if you'd like the address. And hey, nice to see you, John Chris. I remember you. But that's what I teach. That's what I teach. I've done it time and time and time again, and you're about to see me do it again here. We're probably going to be able to get this house for somewhere around $10,000 down. I live in San Antonio. What's the address? I'm going to go ahead and comment it in the chat, as I believe I get muted when I say addresses. I'm also going to write it kind of cryptically so that TikTok's algorithm doesn't recognize what I'm doing. Yes, there are typos in that sentence, and that is purposeful. I'm not looking to get banned. So there's the address. Hopefully you can infer what I was trying to say address-wise, but that is the address of my property that I would be willing to sell to you for no money down. Now we're going to see if we can have a conversation with this next individual. So how many views are we holding? Nice. 48 here, 170 there, 70 there. 70 plus 170 is 230 plus 50 is 280 plus my people on Discord, which is 226, 280 plus 226. We're holding 500 people right now. Welcome to the club. Okay. Can we meet one-on-one? Yeah. If you guys want to meet with me one-on-one, you can book a one-on-one call with me via the link in my bio. Okay, so we never sent the proposal to Maynard. I'm gonna need the guy working on Maynard to send the proposal to Maynard. Well, you know what? I'll do it for you. All right, I'll do it for you. Okay. So, who did I speak to on Maynard? Who did I talk to about that? Was that Patrick or was that the other guy I spoke with?
That was me.
Okay, and I'll call you about the Nashville property in just a moment. So you're Trey, correct?
Yes.
Trey, I'm gonna give you the offer, and because here's the thing, man, I just have too many text messages. I just have too many texts, and I what's gonna happen if I text him is you're gonna expect me to continue to answer that text thread. I just, every morning I wake up with like 40 texts and like 40 missed calls. So I'm gonna write out the offer that I have, and I really do think I got your guy to come around. I really do. I mean, that conversation that I had with him on the 6 unit, he was speaking my language, and I think I was speaking his. So I think it's great. But
I'm really happy about that.
Well, I'm glad, man. I'm glad.
So what are kind of the next steps now?
I'll tell you in just a second. I want to tell him about that line I said. If I broke into your house and stole $750,000, if I broke into your house and stole $750,000 from you and offered you $500 per month to make it right, you wouldn't be too happy about that. So I want that to be the intro of one of my videos. Okay. So what are the next steps? Well, we're going to make the offer, and then he's going to go to his seller and then see if his seller likes the offer. And if the seller likes the offer, he'll send us a contract and we'll sign the contract, and I'll call a buyer and you'll make 20K. We'll make 20K, and I'll give you 60% of the 20K, which is $12,000.
Great.
Yes. Okay. And it could be 15K, it could be 20K, but next step is just to write out the offer, and I'm going to write it out in your DMs here really quickly. You're going to send that to the realtor. If you run into another hurdle and he needs more qualifications, no problem whatsoever. I'm also going to send you my credit score because I'm pretty sure I told him I'd send that. I'm pretty sure I did. So let's get him credit. I think I've got like a 724. I've got to text it over to myself. Bear with me for just a moment, guys. There will be more calls. All right. So credit, here it is. And then we talked about a little bit of proof of funds sent over to him. We'll get him that proof of funds that we talked about. Where's that? Is it on my desktop? No, it's not. Oh, it's in the Discord, right? Dude, honey beehives, this is very exciting. This is very exciting. Happy to hear that, man. Okay, so my proof of funds, my bank account, a screenshot of it is in your DMs. My credit report is about to be in your DMs here. There's my credit report. And now I'm going to write out the offer I've proposed. I'd like to do 2 separate deals as these properties are on 2 separate parcels. I understand around 150K and 198K are owed on both. The game plan is to take over those debt figures, parentheses, I'll need to know monthly payments, I should say debt service on them, and pay you monthly on top of it. I think we can get pretty close to your 100K down by putting down 40K per property and covering the closing costs for both, which should total around 14K. Your client is effectively receiving 94,000. See how I've packaged closing costs into my down payment even though they're separate? Well, the reason I've done that, guys, is because it looks like I'm giving him his asking price. Your client is effectively receiving 94,000, comma, but they would have to pay you out of the $80,000 that they net. Or I should say my 2 down payment figures to distract from the 80K figure out of these proceeds, I should say. Great. I'm pretty sure that's all we need to say. I'd also like to note that I am willing to forfeit my right to a foreclosure using a deed. Well, we could just say I'll forfeit my right to a foreclosure upon 2 months of missed payments. This is a security instrument for your seller. Happy to sign a deed of trust and a promissory note acknowledging, big typo right there, I can't spell for shit, acknowledging, hopefully I'm not muted, the forfeiture, how the hell do you spell that? Okay. There's some typos in here. I would be careful. I would put it into your browser and then you'll see the typos. But yeah, I think that's good to go. On year 6, I can refinance your client all of their equity. So just say, hey, Richard is worried that this message is going to get lost in the cracks here. I'm going to send this to you and communicate with him. And then when he's ready for another conversation, we will have that second conversation. Now I'm going to go give you the 2 emails that he gave me and just say, hey, this is on behalf of Richard. You know, he just, well, quite frankly, I have 10,814 unread text. I'm sorry, 12,814 unread text messages and 657 missed calls. So I just, people hit me up left and right, man, and I don't want to miss his outreach.
I understand.
Okay, so send that to him. You've got my credit, you've got my proof of funds, you've got the email, and then dude, just bug the hell out of me in the chat whenever. Well, you know what? I'll bring you up on today's Wednesday, Friday. On Friday at 2 p.m., remind me to bring up the wholesaler 67. Now, here's a good question. Do you sell a course? I don't know. Would you refer to this as a course? Chat, help me out. I sell access to a live stream. There are videos that break down what we talk about in these live streams, but really it's access to a live stream. So courses are usually things that you can go through and you don't have to spend any time on it. I sell access to a live stream, and this is what it looks like. I'll show you guys right now. So this is the camera view that they see right here. They've got my professional Canon camera right there. And then what happens is I share my screen. See how it says share your screen? I share my screen with them, and then I bring these people up in the chat. So I read the chat here, and people just say, hey, I need help with this. People say this is a community, this is a lecture, more like a path. Yeah, so I sell kind of a path community lecture, you know? It's $20 to be in the live stream. That's it. And then I bring you up for questions. I look at your deal. And rather than me charging an exorbitant amount of money to meet with you guys one-on-one, I sell access to, as they referred to it, a path. Do I teach one-on-one in here? I don't know. I just worked one-on-one with that guy for like 30 minutes, but it's also a public discussion. If you want to meet with me privately, I also sell access to that. You can book me for a call via the link in my bio. Anyways, the chat can tell you if they think it's worth it or not. We have about 2,200 reviews. Here's a unsolicited opinion that I'll share. Unsolicited in a positive context. Oh my gosh. At $20, you can't beat it, especially for the results you can get. This little thing right here, this clover lets you know that he is a new member. Anyways, I got to get back to this. No more selling. No more selling. I know that makes y'all mad. Okay. Oh, pulsing headache right now, and I've drank so much water. What could it be? I don't know, but you know what I do know? The Quest cookies that I ordered on Amazon are at the door. 0 sugar for a cookie that actually tastes like a cookie. I can't wait. Best $20 you can spend on the internet? Yes. Now, we also talk a lot about being a landlord and flipping houses, as I do both of those things. So flipping houses is currently just perfect. So I'd love to talk about that too. However, it is kind of a strategy for after you've done a couple wholesale deals, and then we can talk a little bit more about that. Now, I'm going to jump into my next call here. I did not speak to the guy. So for Mr. Patrick, I do need to talk to Patrick here. Patrick, I have to level with you, man. I don't think that I can sell a deal that's rural, even on seller financing terms. I think there's a chance that your seller would say yes to this offer, but I don't think I could sell a deal that's rural. But I think you should give the seller the offer anyway. So I'm going to write it out because I like the conversation I had with Miss Brooke, but it was more so an example of how to handle these objections. I think the conversation was great, and I think the cash flow could be there. The problem is buyers, myself included, don't want to buy properties that are in the middle of nowhere. And I didn't want to tell her this, but her property is in the middle of nowhere. The only buyers I know that are okay with middle of nowhere properties are mobile home investors. And that is simply because mobile home parks are not in city centers. They're just not. I mean, sometimes they are, but most of the time they're rural. So that's the only thing that I'm okay with. Now, Patrick, I'll have you make the offer. You can get under contract and we will help you try to sell it. But I don't want to sign my name on the dotted line and tell her I can get this sold when inside, deep down, I can feel that I don't have a buyer for a middle of nowhere property. So I'm going to write out the offer and I'll put it in your DMs. Okay. I'm going to say, hey, Brooke, thanks so much for your time today. It was a true pleasure speaking with you. God, what the hell is up with this headache? I got to take a pill. Don't ban me for saying that on Instagram and TikTok. God, I'm talking about acetaminophen. Okay. Hey, Brooke, thanks so much for your time today. It was a true pleasure speaking with you. It's like that thing from the damn Spider-Man movie. Maybe I am Peter Parker. The main hurdle I'm running into after our conversation, is that if I bought this with a loan, I'm paying more than the asset generates per month. If I take over, or if I assume your mortgage with the note holder, I'm in a similar position, trading 750, trading, I should say, a large down payment for around 500 per month after the expenses we discussed. This is the underlying loan, taxes, insurance, maintenance. I have to sound it out because I'm a little bit slow. Maintenance and management slash util. I should say maintenance slash utilities and management. The only structure I foresee working is me taking over your debt via a method known as a trust acquisition agreement, in which we place the property into a trust that you would own, and you sign me on as an owner that is responsible for the mortgage payments and upkeep of the property within. This would keep my payments low, and my down payment similarly low, while you would still net your expected profit figure. Monthly payments of around $750 per month would be, $750 would be stacked on top of the mortgage you have. Please send over any other assets you own for our review. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. There are typos in there. Please copy and paste and fix the typos so we don't look unprofessional. Okay. I need the formula for turnkey section 8. I got you. Rent times 0.8 minus PITI divided by 12. Or nope, wait, times 12 divided by total cost of entry. There you go. And then aim for 0.7 of list price and a 20% cash on cash return. 0.7 is not a firm requirement, but a heavy recommendation. And more typos in there because we don't need to talk about it. Let me take an acetaminophen here, guys. I don't know what the hell is going on. My head is pulsing today. Give me just a moment, and then we've got another call. Thank you so much for your patience, Mr. or Mrs. Nashville person. I appreciate you, and we will talk soon. I'm sneaking into my kitchen and eating some red colored candy. I will be right back. 1 second. Sorry for the delay. It was also time for bathroom break. Okay. Okay, we didn't lose too many members. All right, I'm back. Hey, 44 Bull, I saw that you posted your first deal on Buy Box Cartel, and you said you're hoping it sells. Remember, it's not just about posting it on Buy Box Cartel, it's about blasting it to buyers who have purchased properties in the area. So you want to use the text blast, cold call, email blast function. That's how people find buyers on their own. You can also send it to my team, but that's going to be much, much, much more lucrative than just posting it there. Because what are the chances that out of every single deal there, they see yours and make an offer on it during your inspection period? Probably pretty low. But more importantly, blast that out to people who want your deal, but make sure that it's a good investment, right? Make sure it's a good investment package. Like if you got a fix and flip and the price is $60K and the ARV is 110, the person's going to be underwater. So it's important that you understand that you're putting together a good investment first and foremost. But besides that, we're going to make a call now, and then we're going to talk to a couple people, and then I'm going to, I don't know what's after this, but some downtime for sure if this headache ends. Okay, last conversation of the day. Oh shit, I was supposed to call Harry. We'll talk to him later. He can wait. I'll text him. Yo, getting caught up here. Okay. All right. Now, did I record any of those phone calls that we just had? No, I didn't. Okay, well, we'll record this one. And phone is ringing. All right. I own in Memphis and I own in Clarksville.
Hi. If you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Richard Taylor property.
Thanks, Richard Taylor. Please stay on the line.
Muted on Instagram again?
I'm sorry, this person is not available. If you would like to leave an additional message, please reply after the tone.
Making my life easy. Yes, you can do this in the UK, but just do it from the UK. You know, do it in the United States from the UK. Trust me, we love your British accent. There's no like colonization butthurtness anymore. I think that's all gone. We'll call one more time, but that's it.
Hi, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
We just spoke on line.
Thanks. Please stay on the line.
This person says, "Are you calling me?" I don't know. Is your name Christian Lanes? Are you Christian? Is that you? I was trying to call the listing agent of the Lake Villa. Let me get your address one more time. Let me. I don't know who just called me, but I can't pick that up right now. I'm restarting my Instagram live stream. Yeah, they are impossible to reach. I got the seller's number. Okay. Wait, are you the realtor or are you just a wholesaler who's in my chat? I hope you're the realtor because, man, if you're a wholesaler, I can talk to you on my Discord just like everybody else. Because what's your connection with the seller? You either are the seller or you are the realtor. Those are the only two times I'll talk to you outside of the Discord. Are you the seller or the realtor? If not, I'm going to answer these questions. as far as you locking this thing up, man, lock it up, 10K down, send it to me. I'll help you find a buyer, but for my Discord, right? So let me know. Are you a realtor or seller? I'm happy to talk to you if you are. Audio not working? Instagram won't let me have audio. Instagram won't let me. I'm just trying to figure this out, Instagram. Audio working? Oh my God, it is working. Okay, somebody's gaslighting me. Instagram, I just want to let you know, I'm not muting this. I'm not accidentally touching the mute button. It's a very large button. I'm not accidentally. You're a wholesaler. Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like it could be a good deal, dude. But what you should do is you should join my Discord so that I can have a conversation with you and then ultimately your seller, because that's how these other people talk to me today. They're not just online. Yeah. Okay. All right. The link's in my bio, bro. Hop in my Discord. Show me the deal tomorrow. I'll call your seller. I'll negotiate him down to 5K down. And then we will, and then you'll get we'll sell the deal for you. I do it all the time. But yeah, I just got to reserve that time for the people who are in my community. So let's talk to some of them. Now, we were just talking about getting houses for low interest rates, low down payments, and I'm joined today by a Mr. Garen. Garen, what do you have for us today? Hello? Hello? I can't hear him. Can you guys hear him? You have a hybrid and a couple questions. Well, I'm here to help with that. Okay. So, Garen, can you hear me? Think we're having an audio issue, Garen. That's okay. Just come back up. Saeed, you were also here previously. What's going on, man? How you doing? Long time no talk.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Today's going well. I can feel the energy flowing. How can I help you?
Yeah, so I just sent it a few properties. I got it down a decent discount. I just wanted to run it by you. One is in Detroit, so I thought you might want to have a look.
Always. $30,000, $30K for a property. Can you guys believe that? $30K for a property? Now I can't look at all of the properties here. I see that there's a portfolio in Montgomery and one in Detroit, but I can hear about the portfolio and I can analyze the property in Detroit. So looking at your property in Detroit, oh shit, bro, hell yeah. This thing's listed for 78K. You have it for 30?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get it down to 25, but just stuck at 30.
But bro, 30, they've taken 50K off for you. This is good. Bro, I want this. I'll buy this shit. Hell yeah, I'll buy this shit. Dude, unless there's some absolutely insane thing going on, I buy it. It says it's tenant occupied. I'm flipping these. Does it have to be tenant occupied?
We can get them out. I think it's month to month.
Find out about the month to month, man. I'm gonna go ahead and figure out a little bit more about this property though. I'm very interested. Guys, I'm looking at a 78K property. Bro's telling me he got it for 30K. That's the type of shit I give people money for. And as I look at the street, it's image capture from April 2026 and the neighbor's house is abandoned, but at the end of the day, the house is 30K. The house is 30K. So let's look at what's been selling on this street. Yeah, Zillow hiding the property from me per usual. So let's see if we can find it. There's that 78K. Oh my gosh. There it is. Okay. 78,000. And then neighbor's house is a piece of land. What do we have here? I'm going to draw around this street, this small area, and I'm just going to look at a couple sales. So if I go to for sale and I look at this street here, looks like the neighbors' houses are selling for like 10K, 14K, 23K, 20K, 40K, 40K, 38K, 75, 41, 76, 88. So it's a good wholesale deal, but I wouldn't buy it. So they just have it listed way above where it needs to be. But I'll flip the camera and I'll kind of show you why I was excited and what happened. So this is why I was excited. I was excited because I saw a property listed for 78 and he's like, yo, I got it for 30. But as I look, guys, check this out. This is the same street. You see the sales? 14K, 10K, 23K, 20K, 41K, 38K. So that is That is just an overpriced property, but I do think you have a good discount, and I do think it'll sell. It's tenant occupied for $30K. I bet we can get 35, dude, because I do think you have a good deal. It's not for me because I flip these things. I don't hold rentals in Detroit. However, I still think it's a deal. You know, I think it's a deal. So I would actually encourage you to lock this thing up at 30K, send it to my team, and blast it on Buy Box and post it on Facebook. I would say with 70% certainty, you probably will be able to get $5,000 off of that. I'm just not your buyer for it. Now, tell me about this other portfolio in Montgomery. What's going on here?
Yeah, he just want to sell all four together. Now it's kind of in a similar situation as Detroit. The property prices are around like $50,000-$60,000. So it's listed a little bit higher than what the comps are showing, but I was able to get him down significantly on those as well.
Okay. So I'm looking at one that needs a new roof, but interior looks pretty good. And you got that one for 50K. Okay. I wouldn't. So here's the thing. Flippers are a little bit different than than rental investors. When you flip, you don't really want to flip 4 at a time, but when you rent, if they're all in decent condition, you might actually want to rent 4 at a time. So what I'll say is this. Lock up your Montgomery deals separately. Pick the best fix and flip out of your Montgomery deals. Check for after repair value, check for low rehab, check for a good spread. Lock them up separately. If it's a renovation, you're not going to run into a flipper that's like 5 rehabs at once, feed them to me. Like, that's crazy, bro. I'm running 3 right now and it's a lot. So I'm thinking that we should probably separate these deals that are distressed, because one of them just looks like it needs a new roof and the interior is good. Maybe somebody could throw in a new roof and then throw that thing right back on the market. Anyways, that's what I would say about your 2 opportunities that you've sent me here.
Sounds good. Just a quick thing, sorry, if you don't mind, if you have a couple seconds.
Yes.
For the Detroit one, I was able to found about 0.75 miles, 2 comparables that was sold around 95 and 100K.
Man, 0.75? We can't be going 0.75 miles away. That's like a light year in Detroit terminology. It could just be in a massively different area. When I'm comping in Detroit, you know, I should show you my comp range, man. My comp range for your property is within this box, and this is where I comp. So this is probably about 0.1 mile in any direction. Now, appraisal rules will comp up to 0.5 miles, but Detroit is a very street by street area. It really is. So this is how far I comped from your property. You know where your property is around here. This was my comp range, and there are higher sales here, but your neighbor's house is abandoned, and there's a plethora of properties that have sold in the past year for $10,000 to $30,000. But with that said, man, I still think your deal is a deal. It's just not a deal for me.
Fair enough. I'll try to lock him down around 25-ish and see what we can do.
Huge.
Thank you.
Well, I don't think you need to move the numbers anymore, man. You've got an insane discount. If you can lock it up for 25, even better. But even at 30K, dude, if you threw that up if you threw that thing up on Buy Box Cartel, blasted it to nearby buyers or Facebook, or sent it to my team, you're probably finding a buyer. You bet your ass I like a single family in Dayton. And now I got to call my team about the wholesale deal, or I got to call the buyer about the wholesale deal I did yesterday. Bear with me for just a moment.
Please leave your message for 8.
Sounds like he's on the other line. Just checking to see if you got that multifam in Detroit. Oh, here he is. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Richard. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing really well. I'm calling to see if we are all good to go for the walkthrough on potentially Saturday for the deal that I sent you, that duplex in Cleveland, Ohio.
that's the 7206 Donald for Saturday, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, gotcha. I'm not seeing a note right here. Let me make a call and figure this out, and then I can get back to you.
Okay, perfect. And I will go ahead and I think I've already squared it away with the seller, but we were looking for 1 p.m. on Saturday if possible.
Okay. 1 p.m. Okay, let me get that in, and I will shoot that over and call the gentleman right now.
Great. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Richard.
See ya. Bye-bye. Looking for that $6,000 fee that we discussed yesterday. $6,000 fee from Harry's deal. I'd really like, it's time for me to buy again in Detroit, guys. It's time for me to buy again in Detroit. So if you have anything, I'm ready. Now, I do like single family in Dayton. You know, single family in Dayton, man. God, I mean, you'll have to tell me what you're talking about here. But let's talk to Sora here. Sora, you were up previously, audio issues. What's going on?
Yeah. What's up, man? Yeah, I have that deal that I got under contract yesterday, the subject to a trust acquisition off market in San Antonio. 3.375% interest, $2,467 a month, PITI. There's no HOA, and I got it for $10K down.
Dude, you have a 3% interest rate for $10K down in 2026?
That's right.
Beautiful. That's what I like to hear. Guy who's got the low equity property in Grand Rapids, I don't know if I can call you today. But I can definitely call you tomorrow, and maybe I can call you today. We'll find out, but I've got to make some other calls to people to help them out. So this is exactly what we're talking about here. How much is the house worth? $300,000?
PropStream is saying 383. Zillow is saying like 360 something. So I'm going to say like 370. So there's a good amount of equity in this, to be quite frank.
Okay. Wow. So we have equity and we're walking into the deal for $10,000 down, and you're in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah.
And we have that 3% interest rate. God, guys, you understand what I'm talking about here? $10K for a $300,000 plus property, and it's got a 3% interest rate on it. I mean, it just doesn't get much better than that. It gets a little bit better than that. One time I locked up a house in San Antonio with about $50K of equity for $0 down at a 3.5% rate. And that is the best deal I've ever done. For mortgage takeover. I wholesaled it because it had a squatter in it, but it's Comanche Grove. It's 15306 Comanche Grove in San Antonio. I locked that thing up for $0 down, 3% interest. And I was just like, it doesn't get much better than this, but we sold that some time ago. The reason I didn't buy that deal is because the PITI was $3,500 and there was a squatter paying $2,500 and they're not paying. So I was like, even if I got the squatter out, why am I buying this thing? This doesn't make sense. So I pocketed $10K as a definder's fee for it. Somebody else was willing to deal with the squatter and they did. Now, dude, I full green light on your deal. Full green light on your deal. In fact, if you want, I can post it in my community with your phone number.
Yes, please do.
Great. We're looking at 48 members, and
yeah, the only thing, Richard, is that I don't know if you recall yesterday, but the seller is requesting that the buyer change the insurance within 5 days of closing.
Use Gold Key.
Any days if we don't close in August.
Dude, no need to cut me in on as a fee. This provides value to my home buyers community. So use Gold Key to close it and make that stipulation to Lexi, and she will 100% make sure that happens.
Okay, I already did. Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm going to say, Garen, what's your last name, bro? And is that 2 R's or is that 1 R?
Oh, 1 R, Vartanian. V as in Victor.
I'm going to say V. I'm going to say V. Garen V. And then we're going to, that's a, dude, you know what that's like? That's like the name that the guy from Stranger Things named his little scary monster thing, D'Artagnan, right? What do you?
No, I'll tell you something else, man. I don't know if you know the game League of Legends.
Yeah.
Character called Garen.
Dude.
And that's my name. So.
You guys know what I'm talking about? D'Artagnan from Stranger Things. It's the little monster that Dustin captured. The Demogorgon, I think it's called. That's the only other time I've heard that name.
I'm Armenian, so you're not going to hear it often.
Yeah. And then we will do general chat. Perfect. Posted. This is not a big community. There's only about 48 people in here. We're growing by about 10 members per day. So hopefully we'll soon be at 100 members, and then I can really move these low equity deals that don't cash flow. But dude, my team could sell that too. No problem. And then you'd sell it on Facebook, you'd sell it on BuyBox. You could sell this shit anywhere.
Yeah. I already submitted, and Almira is the sole manager for it. So I'm looking for buyers as well.
Dude, you're gonna find one. You're gonna find one, dude. This is a deal. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a deal. In fact, if you had shown me this 2 years ago, bro, I would have bought in that deal. Like I literally own deals in San Antonio that are just like that. I'm more so focused on cash flow now.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. And for Joanne Street, it's closing this Friday. We got the clear to close.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Quest bar, I don't know what it is. Half of your lineup is really bad, but the other half is really good. Okay. Quest bars on the wheel. I agree with that, and I will do that. Let's talk to Mike. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, bro. Hey, I sent you the address of that. It was the off-market property I told you yesterday before I hopped off the call with you. I tried to go creative, but he wants a cash offer. So my only skepticism is the location. It's a city in Muskegon Heights, but it is in Michigan. According to my search, it has tourism for the lake in Michigan. And from what the owner's telling me, there's no tenants in there because he just recently renovated it. But previous to that, he had even these tenants that were paying $2,200 altogether.
So this is a single family fix and flip or rental? Rental?
No, this is a duplex. A duplex for rental. He says that it already got inspected by the city, so that they can go ahead and occupy both units.
Okay, cool. Are the photos on Zillow recent? 2024, it looks like.
No. He said he just recently renovated. So I did tell him that if we do move forward, it'll be contingent upon inspection and appraisal.
Understood. Yeah, and that's a really good thing to say. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, man. I think your cash on cash return is going to make lots and lots of sense. I know you know those numbers really well now. But it's as much of a question as it is to you as it is to me whether or not we are able to find a buyer here. However, I've heard of this location, and I wouldn't refer to it as rural. I think we can reveal rural or not rural by looking up the location followed by metro population to see the surrounding area. And the metro population in this area is 177,000 people. So I wouldn't refer to this as a rural location. It's just outside those major markets where people frequently and commonly want to buy when they're out of state. So I would say, yeah, it's probably a go. I don't have anybody off the top of my head that would take it, but just skip trace those buyers in the area and send them to them, and then post the, Northern Michigan real estate investing is the Facebook group I'd look up. Is there like a Northern Michigan real estate group or Northern Michigan REI group? I would join those groups. I'd post that deal in there. I'd send it to my team. I'd blast it on Facebook, and you have a halfway decent chance of finding a buyer if you've got a discount on the value of the property.
Yeah, I think it's worth a shot. I think that's the last question I have for you. Because of the circumstance, would you not sign on it? Would you rather me sign on it?
Yeah, because in the back of my head, I feel so bad when you gotta cancel a contract with a seller. Even to this, just like, man, I let this guy down. And I feel bad about it. And that's just one more thing for me to worry about.
We're good, brother. I know that other deals you would sign. So that's pretty much all I have for you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's viable. Anyways, we'll talk. Okay. Next, Lath 10. Lath 10. Hello. Hybrid, huh?
Yeah,
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I sent you an address in your DMs. I spoke to the realtor earlier today. It's a turnkey duplex. The seller is listed for 230. The seller, I'm pretty sure it was like a burr or something. They did a refinance on it. I'm pretty sure and they now have a loan of 150,000. But the thing that I'm worried about is that it's a 7.75% interest rate. I don't know.
7.75% interest is totally fine in two scenarios. Do you know what those scenarios are?
No.
Scenario 1, we have a house for a $0 down payment, and it is in a beautiful location, and it happens to have a 7.5% interest rate. You know, a house is a house before it's an investment, and I know that 7.5% doesn't sound good, but if I found a house in the city that you live in with a 7% interest rate on it, and I came to you and I said, bro, give me $5K, this house is yours, you'd probably do it because it's $0 down and you're paying the money in rent anyways, right? So people think like that because, you know, regardless of 7.5% interest, it's going to take you 30 years to pay off the debt, just like it would with a 3% interest rate. You might do it a little bit slower. And when I say slower, I mean, when you have a lower interest rate, you owe less faster. And when you have a higher interest rate, you owe less slower, if that makes sense. But it still takes 30 years to pay off. So 7.5 is going to increase that monthly payment for us, but eventually it'll be paid off free and clear. And somebody can transfer generational wealth to their next of kin. So people want deals like that, but it's got to be $0 down because that's the only thing we can do to attract a homeowner to buy a property. You know, they don't care about 3% interest rate with a 30K down payment. They really care about that down payment first and foremost. The other scenario where 7.5% interest can work is if you're looking at a property sub 100K, or I should say if it's a duplex sub 150K, because even at 7.5% interest, it's going to cash flow beautifully. So let's take a look at the deal. It's in Detroit. That means that 7.5 probably has of little concern. So except price point's kind of high, but it is a multifamily and it is a beautiful multifamily. So this is a really nice multifamily. I don't even produce multifamilies this nice in Michigan. So this is great. We just have to understand cash flow. Let's check PropStream to figure out the monthly mortgage payment. You are in a low price point market, so there might be a little bit of cash flow, which is king in this scenario. And it doesn't tell me what they owe. Do you know what they owe?
Yeah, the realtor said that the PITI is 1,366.
Wow. And what is the balance?
150,000.
And we've been here for a year, so they might sell for less than 230. What do you think? What would they sell for? How much could we give them to take over that debt?
I don't know. I was thinking that we could give them maybe like $10,000, and then we like do a hybrid deal or something, and then because I think one unit's rented out for $1,250, and then the other one's vacant. So if you rent out the other unit for $1,252, you could get $2,500, and then you could just like seller finance the rest. And I wasn't sure. Like this is like the first time that I've done a deal like this. Look at a deal like this. I just wanted to get your advice.
Well, I love it. I think it's great. If that PITI is truly that PITI, I actually don't think it can be. I actually don't think it's possible. What did you say the mortgage balance was?
150,000.
So 15 or 50?
50.
So check this out. A mortgage payment and the interest rate is based off of the initial loan amount, not the current balance. Let's say the initial loan amount was 160, right? And if that 160 has an interest rate of closer to 8%, it's going to cost about $1,100 per month, right? Now, taxes and insurance on a building like this, you see them? Mm-hmm. Insurance is probably about 150 and taxes are probably about 500. This is a little bit of an overestimate, but well, we never really know in Detroit, but 500 plus 150 is just taxes and insurance. And then the mortgage payment, you know, even if they started with an initial loan balance of 150 and they just bought the property, you're still looking at a a $1,000 monthly payment. So you say the PITO is 1,300 and some change, or what was it?
Yeah, 1366.
Get a mortgage statement, because those numbers don't quite line up in my head. 7% interest on 150, but I bet it's higher than that because they've owned it for some time. 7% interest on 150 is like $1,000, and then taxes and insurance on these things are at least $600 per month in Detroit. So I get a mortgage statement to confirm it's possible that they bought it in distressed condition, renovated it, and then the reassessment of the taxes hasn't occurred, so that they're paying stupid dummy low taxes. That is possible. I've seen that before. But get that mortgage statement. Now, assuming that is the case, man, is this thing would rent out for damn near $3,000 per month. What is it occupied at? Like 2,600 or so?
One unit, it's one unit vacant, one unit's occupied. The occupied unit's at 1,250.
Okay.
And the realtor said that that's below the market rent.
It is. I happen to know it is. I would rent out each of these units for $1,400, $1,500 in condition like this for sure. Especially with beds, baths, and square footage like this at over 1,200 square feet per unit, you could definitely get closer to $1,500 per side here. So let's say it brings in $2,600 and the other side gets around $1,350. You're only paying $1,300. 7% interest is not that bad. And after taking 20% off the top of about $2,600, you're looking at about $2,000. Subtracting your $1,300 PITI, you're looking at $700 net. We could give them probably $20K to take over the debt on something like this. However, I don't trust your monthly payments. I think that they're higher than we think they are. And I think the next thing to ask the realtor is, may I please grab a mortgage statement to confirm those monthly payments? The only reason I ask is because 7% interest on 150, even though the loan balance started higher than that, is $1,000 a month, and taxes here are like $500 per month. So I feel like our payments are higher than this. I just want to confirm that monthly payment. Feel free to redact anything you want. I literally just care about the monthly payment figure. You could send me a tiny little screenshot showing it.
Okay, but what about the rest? Would you approach this as like more of a mortgage takeover, like a hybrid deal? Because
well, what does it mean if your eBay listing has been sitting for a year? You list something on eBay, it sits for a year. What does that mean?
People aren't interested.
Not necessarily that they're not interested. They're not interested at that price. So a property, economically speaking, is worth what the market is willing to pay for it. The market is not willing to pay $230. I bet they're willing to pay closer to $170. We're giving them $170 if they owe $150, and we're giving them $20K to take over the debt and closing costs on top. So they're taking a bit of a low ball, but ain't no low ball. Not a low ball when you've been there for a year. You know what I'm saying?
So what you're saying is like I should stay away from, because I was more thinking about giving them their asking price, taking over the debt, and then just like financing the rest. So stay away from that.
You were not going to be able to pull out that much money from the property because I don't think it's worth that much. It wouldn't appraise that much. You know, we would sell if it were, because dude, this is a beautiful product. Like, look at the inside. It's a beautiful property. There's only one reason that it's not selling. And it's either hidden condition issues, but I don't think so. It looks renovated. So chances are it's just not worth the price that they're asking, even though it's in great condition. And sometimes people get an inflated ego about what their house is worth as they go through an extensive renovation, as this person has. So I think we got to factor into what the market has thought about this. And the market has said, ain't no way in hell. So I always like to say, when I call somebody, before I even position what's been happening, I say, oh man, so people have just been making you the worst of the worst offers, like around 170, 180. And I get them to say yes to that. That way I can use that against them later in the conversation, because I'm going to offer them $20K to take over the debt, and they say, that's not enough. That's not it. I'm like, now tell me, people have been offering this to you for the past year, but you're of the opinion that they're just all wrong, which is another way of me saying you're slow. Sir, you're slow, without actually saying that. So it's the thing that you saw me do time and time again on the conversations today. I'm going to ask them something and they're not going to know why I ask it, or I'm going to make a statement and they won't know why. And then I'm going to use that against them later. So I'm going to be like, wow, what a beautiful property. I love 230. All these silly people, they've been offering you 170 for the past year now. And then he's gonna be like, yeah, I hate them. And I'm going to agree with him and be like, yeah, I don't like those people either. And then later I'll offer them $20K to take over the debt. And they're like, where's the rest? And I'll be like, just to confirm, is your perspective kind of that every single real estate investor over the past year that has made you an offer at 170, they're just all wrong? And he's going to say, yeah, but not really, because he'll realize, oh, yeah, I did kind of say that everybody had been making me that offer. And then I can remind him that the literal definition of value is what the market is willing to pay, not an appraisal, not a comp, not an estimate. It is what the market is willing to pay. And then if he still disagreed with me, I'd say, it might just not be a good fit, which is a negotiation tactic called pushback. And I would recommend that he holds on to the property, which is my last ditch effort to see if he'll come around and have a real conversation with me. That's kind of how I would take this. But no, I would not give him asking price after a year on the market. In fact, it's a bit of a red flag for an investor to give somebody their asking price after it's been a year on the market,
Okay. And let's say they were to accept the taking over their debt. How would I explain to them would we do a trust acquisition or something like that?
Yeah. And you want me to do the negotiation for you? This is Hold My Hand Wholesale after all.
I still haven't gotten back to the realtor with the offer. Is it cool if I do that and then get back to you tomorrow?
Absolutely. Just be in my chat, comment what you did, and I'll bring you back up, okay?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you for your help, Richard. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Somebody just asked me, how old do you have to be to do this? And this is my point in time where I remind you, we had a 12-year-old do a deal. That's why we're the best in the game. Everybody can say, well, there's a lot of different options. I'm not sure who's the best in the game. But has anybody had a 12-year-old complete multiple real estate transactions? Will it ever happen again in history apart from that individual? Only if one of them joins Hold My Hand Wholesale. And we could say the same about our 14-year-olds that have done deals, our 15-year-olds, our 16-year-olds that have done deals. We got Guinness World Records in here, and they don't even know it. The Guinness Book of World Records doesn't know that we have accomplished a world record, and the world record is a 12-year-old closed a real estate transaction solo. We signed the deal for him. He found the buyer through his DMs, and we sent it to a title company, and it closed. His name's Anson Lee. His next deal was for $48,000 with member Riley Kelly. And I'll give you the address. 2222, I know, 4 2s, 2222 Rose Avenue in Burlington, Colorado. $48,000. You feel free to, you could call the listing agent. You don't even need to wonder when I give you the address. You look up 2222 Rose Avenue, Burlington, Colorado. Very easy address to remember. And you just call the realtor, and you're like, hey, there's this guy on TikTok saying that you negotiated. He was 13 when he did that deal with a 13-year-old named Anson Lee. Did that happen? He may not know the age of the person, but it was Anson Lee, and Anson Lee's in the people I follow. You could hop on a FaceTime call with him. Anson would love to talk to you. So absolutely. Absolutely. Damn, that's not very nice. This guy says, his username is Love Life Yes. What a loser, and even bigger losers, the ones taking advice from somebody with no ability to think for themselves. Ow. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Okay, let's keep going. And we're going to talk to Mr. RR because he mentioned something about a Dayton, Ohio property. Jason, look at my new setup. Did you notice the angle change? I changed the angle.
It looks great. I was actually going to text you earlier about that. I was like, what's going on over there?
Yeah. So I backed the camera up and then I raised it up higher so you could see the full Hold My Hand Wholesale logo, both of my fake plants and the lights and such.
It's great. I love it.
Thanks. Tell me about this. Dayton.
I got some realtors. Which one do you want to talk about? I'm not under contract. It is late over there. I just sent these 30 minutes ago and talked to 2 realtors over it. And the third one, they responded. We'll respond tomorrow on a text. So no addresses, please.
Yes, sir.
Which one do you want to go over? And what do you think? I sent them in your DMs if you didn't notice.
I think deal and deal. This market is one of the hottest markets in the United States for wholesale. It's hard to find deals here, and when you do, it's great. I'm talking about, guys, 2 markets that consistently just every time I see a deal there, it sells. Akron, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio. That's 3 markets. Even better than Cleveland. So yeah, dude, both of these, if you sent this to Shell,
Right.
and if you posted this on Buy Box Cartel, and if you post this on Facebook, 150% it's selling. 100. You know, these smaller cities in Ohio, people just love them. They're just at the top of people's list for Section 8 deals. And this is great. I mean, your PITI on 76,000 in Dayton, which has pretty low taxes compared to Detroit and Cleveland, is probably going to be like 750, and rent is 13 to 1400. Hell yeah, bro. That's what I'm talking about. This is good.
Yeah, the one is occupied. The 147 Grove. That one, 70K was my offer, and it is occupied. There is a renter in there for 1,300 a month right now, and they've got a 5-year lease, and they got 4 years left. And then the one over on 2022 Leo Street is vacant, but it rents for about 12, 13, yeah.
Hell yeah.
So,
well, dude,
decent shape.
These are strong markets. The only hurdle you have to get over is that wholesale hurdle. But dude, I've got an idea. I created an LLC called Tacoma Street LLC, and Tacoma Street LLC is an LLC that I use to flip properties, and I created it for 13605 Tacoma Street, one of my most recent fix and flips. And dude, you could just tell the agent, hey, I'm going to create a new LLC for this transaction, and I need the ability to assign it to that new LLC. Can you sign this document?
Absolutely. That's sick.
What are they going to say to that? Well, you absolutely can't do that. You absolutely cannot. You know what they could say? They could say, well, why don't we just do an addendum? And you say, I don't know. Yeah, it's a little bit more convenient for me to not have to go get another contract and send it to the title company. So that's guys, we closed in Ohio 2 days ago. We closed 269 Wheeler in Akron, Ohio for $11,000 2 days ago. Right? Mike's in the chat with that one. So Ohio is a peak market. Unfortunately, you now have to disclose that you're wholesaling, but what an easy way to say that I'm going to wholesale, saying that I'm going to create a new LLC and I'm going to assign it to that LLC. In fact, I literally do that. It ain't no excuse. That shit's real. So use that. And then as far as double closing, still is kind of a legal gray area if you do that in Ohio. You know, the restriction kind of covers double closing. So you gotta bring up the I'm sending it to my other LLC.
Right. It worked well. I talked to Monica. That's the 147 Grove. And as soon as I got done, she loved the offer. She says, that's great. And she sent it over to the seller this evening. And then I contacted Jeanette for the 2022 on Leo. And when I got done talking with her, another realtor called me named Allie, and he's got one on 185 Grove Street. And I was like, well, here's my offer. And I did 128 on that one. And he's like, all right, man, it's late, but I'll do this first thing in the morning. And I'm like, shit, yeah, they're 3 hours difference than me. So, but they called me on that third one right down the street on Grove. That realtor called me as soon as I got done talking with Monica and Jeanette, the other two realtors. So I was like, hell, I didn't even have to do any damn work.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
Lucky.
Well, I love the deal, man. I love the deal. I think you got a really good chance of getting an assignment fee there.
Yeah, well, I'll send them your way. So yeah, no, I was excited. I was messing around today, and I thought I'd give it a shot. I was like, well, hell, man, let's look at Dayton today.
Yeah, man.
And it's nice over there.
Dude,
crime's down.
Yeah, I love that market. I love that market. Well, thanks so much for sharing, man. I appreciate it. Mr. OB3, last question of the day, so I can get off. My head is throbbing. I don't know what's going on.
Thanks, Richard.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you.
Hey, I sent you the screenshot on the DM, and I talked to Patrick this morning, just asking the update about the hybrid deal in Albany. And so he told me that the attorney, they believe that you will trigger the do on close sale.
Yes.
Yes. Right. So it's like, are you guys go back and forth with your guy? I don't know. There's still hope, or what do you think?
I would send him. I would say, if I send you 100 properties I've done this on with no due on sale, comma, is your perspective that you'd be the 0.01 or 0.1, the 1%? happy to send the 100, but my thinking is that it won't change your perspective. It's important to note that Jeff has closed over 2,500 of these and never had the DOS clause enforced. Beyond that, we have what's it called, like case precedent, or I forget what it's called when it goes to court, legal precedent, I think. Legal precedent on the matter dash when the DOS clause was called, litigated, and lender backed off. So you can send them that. I have a feeling that logic doesn't go far with this guy, but that's okay. It's a lot of people.
I think you froze.
I'm working on it. Working on that. It'll come back here shortly. So yeah, send him that, and that will probably not do anything, but let him know that he's wrong. Because I can't do. Jeff is the absolute authority on this. Jeff has closed over 2,500. So if it's like, hey, I've closed over 2,500, never had an issue, and the other guy's like, but this is going to be the one time that you have, and Jeff's like, man, we got legal precedent on the matter too, where it's been litigated and we won. No. Okay. Sorry, if we want to look at 1 + 1 and call it 3, no amount of showing my work is going to help them out with that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Hopefully, they change their mind. So thanks so much, appreciate you.
I mean, we talked to the guy in Jacksonville today who had the 6 unit and they wanted me to take over their debt with subject to. Sometimes you just run into people who are okay with it, but if we have to explain it for the first time to them, they're probably going to be like, well, what's this? I don't understand. And it's like, oh my God, bro, we got to work with a creative investor here.
One more thing. Have you heard from Joshua anything? Any email back? Email you back, Joshua, from yesterday for the 17 units in Houston?
No, I'll send you a screenshot. Check it out. Text him and let him know that my LOI is in his inbox and he hasn't responded.
Oh, I'll text him.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk Spider-Man movie. What do we think? I liked it. I'll say I liked it. I thought that portions of it were a little bit corny, like more DC than usual. You know what I mean by corny? When he's like, 10v1ing the ninjas. And then also, I don't know if anybody else, I liked the movie. I'll just say I liked the movie. I thought it was slightly corny. Here's the other thing that I thought about it. Bro's getting too big for that suit. He's getting too big for that suit. You see his physique has changed, and it's fine. It's normal, but it's like he's turning into a dad. And, I'm looking at Bro in the suit and I'm like, damn, this looks like Spoderman or Spooderman. I was just looking at that. You guys know it's Spooderman? Hold on. Dude, I was looking at the suit and I was like, damn, that thing used to fit you a whole lot better, dog. That should have fit you a whole lot better. But I will say, I liked the movie. I saw it last night. I liked the movie, and yeah, I think it's worth the watch. I'd say if you're gonna watch it. But I was hoping it would be darker. You're getting older. You're out of high school. You know how Batman used to be kind of corny with DC? I always liked the Batman movies, but then they came out with Robert Pattinson Batman, and it was dark and like mysterious and brutal, and that shit was heat. One of the best Superman movies I've ever seen is Robert Pattinson's Batman. That shit is hard, dude. And it's not like you're fighting some. They took They took the historical characters like the Joker and they removed all the question marks and the corny things that they used to have in the 60s. And they just made it like, this like deep, sad, dark, stoic thing. And I just thought it was, I just thought that shit was heat, you know? So I felt slight corn in it. And you know, what's interesting is when I watched the first two Spider-Mans, more so the first one than the second, but I thought the first Spider-Man movie wasn't that corny. I didn't think it was that corny. He's a kid. He's in high school. It makes sense. I thought the second Spider-Man was slightly more corny, but then the third one, I was like, we like these red ninjas that they have. Man, why'd you have to make the ninjas red? Why couldn't they be like more realistic? Like, who the hell walks around in an all red outfit? I don't know. No Way Home. Yeah. Or another example of Spider-Man that I thought was absolutely heat and kind of dark. Like when Spider-Man got kind of dark, Avengers Endgame, when he's like, Tony, I don't feel so good. Yo, that was hard. Obviously super sad, but like the real acting, instead of going from the high school kid acting, I was just like, that's tough, bro. That's tough. Like we felt that moment between Iron Man and Spider-Man. That was just, I liked that. And I was hoping that we'd see a little bit more in this movie, but it's okay. It's okay. I still enjoyed it. Anyways. Yeah, the ninjas are literally red. I get that. But I was hoping we could like, maybe they only wear red when they're in battle, you know? Maybe they only wear red when they're in battle, and maybe they wear like normal outfits rather than walking around like that. Anyways, I liked it. That's all I'll say. Okay, let's give away some shit. Today, I don't have it on the wheel, but we're going to give it away. We're giving away Quest cookies today. Quest cookies are just gas. They're just gas. They're no sugar. They're just very good. So we're going to give away some cookies today. Not cookies for Buy Box Cartel, though. Other cookies. Okay. So, dude, should I be Spooderman for Halloween this year? I can like stuff clothes and I can give myself like a belly with a shirt. I think I should be Spooderman for Halloween this year. Cause I pull up to this live stream. I pull up to this live stream with my Spider-Man outfit on when it comes to be Halloween. I've done it for 2 years in a row now. But I'm thinking I fill it with clothing. And it just looks like I'm obese in the outfit. What do we think? Hopefully. Can I DM you updates between now and Friday about Maynard? Yes, but Wholesaler 67, I'm probably not going to see him because I have too many DMs. So I'm here to talk to you guys here. Okay. You and your team should do Gillian's Island. I live it. Nobody lives with me anymore. I used to live with my business partner, but bro got engaged and now we don't see him very much anymore. Mora, calm down. Okay, so let's give away some Quest cookies. Okay. How should I give away my cookies? You know, I like location. I like locations. So I'm going to do a location and I want y'all to tell me where this location is. Wow. Interesting. Does anybody know where this is? So I'm going to do a city. I need y'all to tell me which city this is. I'm going to drop a picture of a city's skyline in the chat, and I need y'all to tell me which city's skyline we are looking at here. It's distinctive. It'll be distinctive. You're going to use location features and just, you know, analyze the vehicles that you see and you know, try to figure out where this is. I'll drop 2 photos of it in the chat. Don't you dare use Google image search. Make it fair, guys. Make it fair. If somebody actually knows, that person should win. This is an honor code thing, guys. So do the right thing. You know, you're getting Quest cookies at the end of the day. It might make somebody really happy to win. Don't take that from them if they just happen to know the answer. I know that was Rowan's favorite thing to do when he used to be in here a lot. Okay, so I've got 2 pictures of the city skyline, and y'all are going to tell me where it is, and if we get it right, we're Amazoning you cookies, okay? 3, 2, 1, go. Look closely. Don't just guess. Look closely. You're going to have to look closely. I know we think it's Seattle. It's not Seattle. It's not Toronto. It's not Portland. It's not Singapore. It's not Taiwan, Nevada, San Diego, Savannah. All right, we didn't. I think we got to do another one, guys. I think we got to do another one because now any answer is just going to be Googling it. Let's do another one, guys. I'll do another one, okay? One more. That was Auckland, New Zealand. Auckland. I don't know how to say it. Auckland, New Zealand, or however you say that. But yeah, it's not in the U.S. Okay, we're going to do it again. We'll do it again. Another distinctive city. Let's think. Distinctive. I liked Auckland because it had a very distinctive Space Needle type thing on it. Okay. Damn, y'all are never going to get these. I think I got to go U.S. cities. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is pretty distinctive. If one of you lives here, you should know what this is. This is not a, well, I'll give you, I'm not going to say anything. One of you guys should know where this is. Would I know where it is? No, but I could kind of infer where it might be. So yeah, play a little GeoGuessr. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Where is this? Look closely. Yes, this is Boston. Check it out, Boston. You see? That's Boston right there. And that, I saw somebody comment Boston. I don't know who it was, but that's Boston. Yes. And I bet you knew because you commented it pretty quickly. Yeah, Ren, that's for you, man. Those cookies are for you. And I think we've already shipped you something, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. I've won a couple of these now.
Oh, but the thing hasn't come yet because it says August 15th. Is it because it's kind of a rare item that we shipped you?
Yeah, you shipped me a ripstick, like, I want to say it was not last Friday, but the Friday before.
It's in transit, and if it doesn't show up during that time, let me know and we'll get you another one. Okay, so... Oh, you're the one in Oregon. Cool.
Yep.
Dope. We should get some coffee sometime. I have like 4 friends.
I'm down.
One time I hung out with a guy from the Discord, though, and he was kind of weird. And I was like, oh, man, I'm hesitant to do this again. But that doesn't speak for everybody. He was like, wanted to take pictures and shit. And I was like, bro, let's just hang out, man. Come on. Okay. I'm looking at this address. I see it. Okay. Quest cookies. Dude, these things, they might as well just be real cookies, but without sugar. You just wouldn't know.
Yeah, I love cookies. So,
you could
I'm down.
You can eat these like a lot. There's no sugar in them, and and I'm super upset when something tastes bad. But these taste good. Is he still on the Discord? Is the guy still in the Discord who I hung out with? I don't know. I'm not sure. We have like thousands and thousands of members. I don't know. Gosh, headache is still going strong. And then phone number. Does your phone number end with a 0?
6400, but yes.
Huge. Gotcha. This will deliver quickly. I think it will be there in like 2 days. Let's find out. Arriving on August 6th. It'll be there tomorrow. You'll have it tomorrow. Let me know what you think, bro. I'm not... Oh, shit. I actually am kind of sponsored by them. They send me care packages, but not officially sponsored. Just care packages. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. This is my... I think I made 3 hours. I think I hit 3 hours. Guys, a lot of Quest stuff is gross. I'm not gonna deny that Quest is not... Some of it pretty gross, but a lot of it's not. All right, guys, I'm heading out. thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And we might have another speaker after this. We do. Her name is Kira. Kira, what's the biggest deal you've closed recently?
Oh my God. Don't talk about it. I just lost a deal last month and I was so bummed. The buyer went around me.
That's terrible.
A signee went around me, actually. But that's okay. I'm working on pre-foreclosures and I've got 2 deals that I've lined up. And I'm not going to talk about the amount, but it's going to be good.
Dude, hell yeah. If somebody ever tries to go around you, you can file a memorandum on the property.
I did.
So you'll be paid. You'll be paid, Kira. You'll be paid. It's just a matter of time. One day you'll get a phone call and it will be a title company and they'll say, hey, it looks like you're a lien holder on this property. How much to release the lien? What's the best you can do? And you name your price. So it'll pay out just in the future.
Let's see. I'll keep you posted. It's the first time I've ever filed a memorandum and it was a bitch, believe me.
Yeah, but dude, now they're not going to be able to buy the property without paying you.
Yeah. Well, the buyer backed out at the last minute. There's drama. Okay. There's always drama, but the buyer backed out, the assignee backed out, and then the seller is still trying to sell the property. So we'll see what happens.
Right. All right. Well, thanks, Kira.
Thanks for today, Richard.
Yeah, I had such a good time here. Like, it was fun. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for hanging out with me. See ya. Bye-bye. Just a heat live stream, bro. Just a heat live stream. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I had a really good time. We still got like 140 of you across the platforms I'm still live on. I've got 3 offerings. I have 3 offerings. My first offering is Hold My Hand Wholesale. That's what you guys were watching today. Hold My Hand Wholesale it teaches you how to make probably 10 to 30 to 40K per month, and then gets you into flipping and rental properties. That's Hold My Hand Wholesale. You start with finder's fees, you graduate to rental properties, and then fix and flips, right? Then I also have the American Dream Project, and that's about buying your primary residence. Your primary residence, meaning the house that you live in. It's about not renting, and it's about buying. And it's about buying for $0 down, like my San Antonio house. The house I have in San Antonio that I'll sell for $0 down, it's like that. How do we find more sellers who are open to doing what I'm open to doing, which is selling you my house for free, no money out of your pocket, no qualification, no credit, no debt to income ratio? Did you know that you could own a property in your market for no money out of pocket if you knew where to look and what to say? That's the American Dream Project. That's linked in my bio. So is Hold My Hand Wholesale. And then my final offering is just my consultations. If you want to talk to me about literally anything real estate related, you are welcome to book me for a one-on-one call via the link in my bio. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys. YouTube, you don't have a bio, so I'm just going to put these in here. School.com/American Dream. Learn how to buy with 0.00 and no qualification. And then let's talk about the next one. Hold My Hand Wholesale. That's just learning how to become a real estate entrepreneur through these live classes, the community that we have. That is www.hmhw.group. That's right there, YouTube. And then one-on-one calls offered via the link in my Instagram bio. And my Instagram is Richard Grandin Taylor. Somehow I got lucky enough to lock up my actual name for my Instagram account. So anyways, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye-bye.